I just wake up in the morning and I yell a lot, even though it's way too early. It's fun though. Wake up, wake up, wake up!
Good morning, and thank you for getting up way too early with Garage Gym Life. We're so happy to have you guys with us. Once again, we are in an undisclosed alternate location. I'm John Greaves III. I'm a co-founder of Garage Gym Life. This is my wife, Naomi. You guys do not get to hear her awesome theme intro music today because she's already on screen. But as a bonus, you get more. You get like 15 more seconds of Naomi. So hey, listen, more Naomi is never a bad thing, in my humble opinion. Anyway, so if this is your first time checking out the show, just gonna dive right in and let you know this is the show that is basically the talk show for the home gym community. We cover fitness concepts from a home gym perspective, and we get your live reactions to the topics that matter to you as a home gym owner. So if you would do us a favor, first, let's see, I told you I'm already mad at this mouse. So saying I told you I'm mad, I'm mad. I'm very angry right now. I'm just trying to get there we go. Okay. Just trying to get that to stop. All right. That's all I wanted to do. That's all I wanted to do. I wanted to play life. I wanted to do that. No, it's that thing. We'll cover what I'm upset about in Recliner Rage, which is our most popular segment. But anyway, what we ask you to do if this is your first time watching the show is hit the subscribe button. You're gonna enjoy it. You're gonna. I usually, if you enjoy, you're gonna enjoy it. All right, we have a good time. So click like, click subscribe, and then if whether you are already a subscriber or not, do me a favor and hit the like button so we can start helping YouTube algorithm start pushing this. Okay, that really means a lot. It doesn't matter how many subscribers you have, because within the first hour of you starting any video, YouTube only sends it out to like 200 people who don't already subscribe to you, and they will continue to push it out based upon responses and how much engagement it can get. So when you guys hit like and hit subscribe, that actually helps us a ton. It helps me much more than you know. So start pushing out there. Now, one other thing is if you are watching, whether you're watching live or you're a member of the replay gang, and as always, shout out to the replay gang. Whether you're watching live or replay, we want you to join the conversation because the show doesn't work if it's just us talking or later on me and my guests talking. Okay, the show works great, works at its best. This will separate it from every other show when you guys get active in the comment section. So please do me a favor and comment, comment, and comment. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to move smaller me out of the way and put that up there. Now, before we check out who's in the live chat, Naomi, go ahead and tell everybody what's on the menu for today's show.
Right. Well, good morning, everybody. So first things first, and you have already gone way
That's
past.
what you were using now?
I did know.
Oh, okay. Well,
Well, I told you, leave it right where it is. So welcome to our shenanigans. Um, so at 6:05, of course, we're gonna have news and other things to meet. And the things that we're gonna be talking about is John has gotten an warning, showing him, you know,
bling, bling. Every time I come in your city, bling, bling.
I do actually just show you again. I'm gonna say
Thank you.
but we're also getting some awesome content submissions from you guys. Mike Brantley was featured on the Brandon Williams YouTube channel as well. So we'll be discussing that. And then also a gym towel deep dive. Then at 6:45, it's all you guys' favorite segment, which is the Recliner of Rage, which you're probably already starting to see right behind the scenes of what the topic is going to be today. Then in the second hour at 7 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Central, we have Jake will be stopping by to give us a HomeGymCon update. And then finally, in our third hour at 8 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Mountain, 7 a.m. Central, Nick Nilsson is going to join us to talk about the best exercises for every muscle group. Then wrapping up with YouTube channels that you need to watch.
All right, that's it. So we got a ton going on. And as you see, I'm we literally are working on our mobile setup, so it's a little bit more complex, but let's go ahead and see who is in the building today. And let's see, I'm supposed to, yeah. Oh, all right. So let's scroll. Oh boy, here we go. I guess I already see that. I already see the comments. All right, from the peanut gallery. Oh boy. All right. Anyway, let's check out who's first in the building. So, um, the first person in the building was our guy, Close, and he was in here at 4:49 a.m. He said, "Yes, I should see. I'm already off. I'm off track right now." Carlos said, "We're up so early that Bacon is still talking about bread and other things." And that made me laugh. I don't understand what it means, but it made me laugh. So I don't care. He said, "Wake up, wake up, wake up."
Try not to hit the conference.
Yeah, I'm gonna try. We're living off the land like our ancestors made, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, next up is Letha. She was in a replay gang last week. She is live and direct today. So happy to have you back. She's happy Friday from Alabama. Let's do this. Sean from Colonial Barbecue Club says, "Morning, Greaves fam. Let's get it." Yeah, man. What's up? Let's see. And see. See, Jeff, what are we talking about? What are we talking about, Jeff? All right. Trevor said it's Friday and time to break out the unapproved bacon after a good workout.
It's just not murder.
Not finished cooking.
No,
That's
it's not murder within.
everything about me is a weapon. All right. Anyway, moving on. Okay, that's Inca. I got Inca strong. Winston is in the building, and he said Inca has arrived. Hey, look, I feel like you don't be stealing my phrases, all right? When I go on other people's channels, especially like their live streams, that's what I put I have arrived. I actually got that from
Even when you're not.
I got that from somebody. I got that from HomeGymCon, where it doesn't matter what time he joins the stream, he puts first. And his reasoning was he's the first to say first. Which is wild. That's I was like, yeah, you gotta chill. Yeah, and the thing about I've arrived, I got that from uh what's the little M&M's, old M&M's commercial. When I get walked in, and it's like, hey, my fans, I've arrived. You know,
Yeah.
well, I didn't use the my fans. I just like the way it said my I've arrived. Jared, Jared, Jared was the catalyst for the Jim Towel deep dive, and actually it was a good thing. So I'm all about that. Says, "Good morning, everyone." Carlos said, "Blink twice, Naomi." I noticed nobody's concerned about my safety. Hi, Big Mike in the house. Hey, and you're gonna be part of the topics for the day, Mike. So he said, "Morning." Carlos said, "God is brought me captivity to settle another gambling debt." Seriously.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. And he's on fire today because he said, "I'm 50." He's answering the question today. So let's hide that. All right. B says, "Good morning." She's also answering the question of the day. So she said, "Good morning from Chicago." What's up, B? So I'm going to star that and then I'll hide it and we'll come back to it. And let's see here.
No.
So Jared says, "Your daughter sleeping nearby, your volume is lower than usual." No, but we are, uh, our parents are like right there and they hear it. Yeah. So we're trying not to disturb them.
Because he'll come right in here when he will worry. And when he worries, he'll come in and investigate.
And that'll be an event. So the important question is, can you guys hear us? Because for the table that we're using, the mic is closer to my side
Yeah.
than to where Naomi is. But because so we technically should have had well, actually there are a lot of reasons why she's not on that side of it. One is she's left-handed, I'm right-handed. And so we don't even sit that way in restaurants because we'll bump elbows and get in each other's way.
Yeah.
The other thing is just moving there.
But to center it, that you're gonna have to make sure that you don't knock over the computer.
Just using your room.
Yeah.
All right. And
Is that better?
the table we're using is very small. We're going to remedy that as we build out this mobile setup. This should not be the last time that we're broadcasting from here. So, yeah, so just like I said, just let us know if you guys are not able to hear us, because there's a limit to how loudly we can speak.
Yeah.
But we also depend on you guys to tell us when sounds off. So I'm not telling you not to tell us, okay? Appreciate it.
And I also understand that I feel that I talk really, really loud.
You're not.
But John tells me that I don't. So I'm actually trying my best to
She
project.
feels like she's screaming right now.
I feel like I'm talking louder. I'm not screaming yet, but I feel like I'm talking louder. But also I know who I am married to, so I also have to make sure that when I set up everything, that number one, he can't knock it over, because you will. You have destroyed things in
Yeah,
the
tell a
house.
story about the hospital yesterday.
Like I said, I am married to a master of disaster.
Okay,
So,
I
that
feel
needs to be a t-shirt or a
can't.
badge.
We can't.
If that goes
We can't.
exclusively for you.
That's somebody else capable. That's like from the 80s.
That's a
Can I tell my hospital story?
no.
Okay.
So, like I said, everything here is set up where where he can access the keyboard, access the mouse on the laptop,
This is not a panic room, Mike.
and then actually have the conference mic that's in the middle.
Yeah.
But he can't,
I'll tell you
can't
what.
knock it over.
I'll have Naomi take a picture of me and my setup. When she's done, like maybe while I'm doing recliner rage or something, just stand over there and take a picture of what the setup looks like, so people can see the, and then I'll post it on Instagram at Garage Gym Life, so you guys can see the setup for the day. Okay.
Well, also the fact that it doesn't matter rain or shine,
The show goes on.
COVID or not, the show shows on.
The show goes on.
At regardless of what time zone we're in, it will still
The
start.
show goes on.
So
All right, so that is, I am not a car knocking over everything on purpose.
you have
okay?
no idea.
I am a victim. Can I tell my story now?
No.
Yes.
In fact, when we were
You know
dating
what? I'll tell you the story during the news and other things.
at my place, he knocked off the mirror off the medicine cabinet just from closing. Yes.
I don't identify as somebody who remembers that.
Well, I do, because that was part of my security deposit.
I want you to move in with me.
Yeah, okay.
Once we corrected that, that wasn't an issue anymore.
So good morning and welcome to the shenanigans of Way Too Early.
All right, so now that we've called attendance, let's go ahead and we're going to dive into news and other things if I can get this contraption to actually work. Here we go. Okay, so news and other things. Anyway, so we always start off news and other things with your responses to the question of the day. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. And just put Batman. Okay, hold up. Trevor said, I'm hearing excuses instead of prior planning. This is the result of prior planning. Okay.
Yes.
It's a situation. All right. Carlos said Batman is going to show up behind you, talking about where the hostages. Yeah, all over you, dang. Tell your jokes. Tell your jokes. All right, so let's go ahead and start. So the question of the day is, are you a supplements person or do you prefer quote unquote real food? I think that this is a topic that becomes more popular or prevalent periodically, like most things. You have every 10, 15 years or so, you have a resurgence of people who start saying you shouldn't take any supplements at all. And then once people start seeing the limitations of that, then you start seeing a rise in the, hey, this supplement, okay, well, maybe this supplement works, so you should try this. And then slowly you see the number of supplements people take build out over time until all of a sudden it hits sort of like a tipping point and you get back to you shouldn't take any supplements at all, just stick to real food, that kind of thing, right? And I don't personally feel like this is not a hill to me that you need to die on. I think you should supplement with what helps you. And I think what also complicates it is that everyone's definition of supplement is fluid because it is such a catch-all term. It means supplement. So anything you add to your normal diet is technically a supplement, right? So, for example, uh, if we're talking about just essentials, then technically all you need to drink is water. Well, what if you decide you want to drink coffee as well? Well, now that's a supplement, right? But for most people, well, that's food. That's actually part of my regular diet. That's a food group, right? But okay, they said, well, why? Well, because you need energy. Okay, well then here comes the natural person saying, no, 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 just get more sleep. Ah, but then if you have trouble getting to sleep, does that mean you take a sleep supplement, right? It just goes on and on. Um, and so I will say that personally, I am a supplements person because of our current situation in life, work schedules, and everything else. Um, like I work night shift um, for my full time job is at night, all right. And then so I use pre workout because I work out as soon as I wake up. That even affects the because of the amount of time I have, there are people who say, well, I only do fasted. I work out fasted, right? And there's a big debate about that. I'm like, yeah, well, I work out as soon as I wake up because I don't have time to wait, right? Okay, so that's a whole nother debate. We can talk about some other time. But my point is, to me, it's a supplements thing. Now, that may change for me as my life phase changes, right? But that's for me. What about you, Naomi? Are you supplement? Well, I know the answer, but tell everybody. What do you?
I am more, I don't do supplements. I'll take them periodically, but I'm not consistent. So when it comes down to like taking like a pill or a shake or something like that, and
Energy drinks.
energy drinks, even still, I'm not a huge energy drink consumer.
It's mostly like a road trip thing.
If I'm gonna be pushing
Yeah.
like 5 hours or more behind the wheel, which again, I love to drive, so
I just wave the white flag and we're driving because
so
I hate driving.
exactly. So I'll probably have an energy drink, and even then I don't finish it.
That's true.
I may sip on it or whatever, but I'm mainly
I could buy fill up 5 gallon bucket with the unfinished energy drinks over the course of the last year.
yeah, I think I still have like 3/4 of that energy drink from the other day still in the car.
Yeah.
But mainly fruits, vegetables, foods I need to eat. So and then even with working out, if it's gonna be in the morning, I'll have a cup of coffee and then I'll go work out. If it's in the evening, then it's just, I'll probably do electrolytes in my water. So like a liquid IV or element. But that's about it.
I will say that I consider the stuff that you take when you do races, the goos and stuff. I consider those as supplements because they're not, yeah, they're extra. But that to me is what the point is. It's a supplement. It shouldn't be a staple. It should be extra, right? Um, so now let's hear from you guys, what your process is. So Winston says, I eat mostly freshly cooked meats, fish salads, and some starches sprinkled throughout the day. I supplement with protein shakes as needed. I have caffeinated gym and electrolytes during a while I train. That's something that I think is like kind of like to me that's a solid strategy, because again it's a supplement. I will say one other thing about the protein shakes in a second, but let's go on to the next comment. um, Carlos said, I'm 52, of course I use pre-workout and say it's all natural motivation. Shoot, I'm on that stuff right now. We can tell.
We know.
We can tell based upon the volume and frequency of the first couple of comments. Yeah, that's it.
You hit that.
He on that stuff again. He on that stuff. B from Chicago says, I eat regular food plus vitamins and juice too, more in the summer when produce is reasonably priced. Okay, so there we go. So that I think is a very good point because anything, if you say, okay, well, it's only what's natural. Well, technically, that could also mean, well, what's natural to where you live, right? Because you would assume that your body's adapted to your environment. Kind of like if you want to, if you need to take honey from like locally produced honey, and that helps you with your allergies, okay, because your body adapts to your the environment where you mostly are. So if you're somewhere where, let's say you're in Florida, then most apples are not native to your environment, okay? Because apples tend to grow better in a colder climate, okay? So there is that thing. So that means that you can rabbit hole supplements as much as you want, and it usually comes down to uh, whatever I take. Whatever I take is real food, and then whatever other people take is supplements. That's usually what I see how people divide up this stuff, right? Um, and let's see, Trevor says, I drink protein and creatine post workout, but that's it. No pre workout anymore. I can see that. Um, then we've got, I think there's another one. Higher. Okay, no, that's it. Kevin said, the older I get, the less I use. I want to be able to function 100% without all the monthly expense. Also, I've experimented enough to know what really works or moves the needle in real food wins. So that's one of the things I wanted to comment on. And that is for me, whenever I'm going into some sort of weight loss phase, um, protein shakes become more important to me because it is not only easier to uh, put into something like my fitness pal, but it's also a lot more easily predictable. So I know the calorie count of a protein shake uh, a lot more. It's a lot easier for me to know. Okay, this is 200. Yeah, this is like 200 calories. It's got this many vitamins or whatever. Um, if I use a protein shake, than if I get real food, because let's go back to the apples thing, right? The calorie count in an apple varies according to the size and volume of the apple, how much water is in it. Okay. Um, and that varies according to what type of apple it is. So yes, you can put that kind of stuff in like your calorie tracker and all that. And the easiest way that I found is the method that our friend Randy showed, where he's like, you just use the plate method. You take your palm, take a plate, and then you say, okay, is this much of a plate? It's on the palm. I'll link that video in the description for this one so you guys can see it. But my point is that protein shakes are a lot easier to predict when it comes down to keeping track of calories so that you make sure that you're consuming less than you burn. The other side of it is, as far as creatine, like Trevor said, um, because I know of the other benefits of creatine, I think it's one of the things I will always supplement with, because um, I still like the physiological benefits, but I also know now of the brain sparing, the mental cognition effects, positive mental cognition effects. Okay. And so I think that creatine is something that everybody should take. And to a certain extent, everybody does take creatine because it's in, unless you're vegan, because it's in every meat source. All right. And I think that if you eat a diet that's high in meat, especially red meat, then it's going to be easier for you to limit your creatine consumption. But it's also tough to consume that much creatine from just steak alone, because your stomach's going to fill up. Um, it's also one of the absolute safest, in my opinion, supplements, because it's been studied for like over a century. So I just think that it's one of those things that really, to me, should just be a food. It should be like just normal food. You know how like they started like putting fluoride in the water, and
Yeah.
I'm like, this stuff is safe, and it would actually make life easier if they just put it in something like that, so everybody just got it, because it just is universally so good for you. Um, let's see here. I should have changed that to John and Naomi Greaves. It's fun to headline. Uh, and Jared said, I was just going to say that coffee could probably be considered a supplement. At exactly the point I was going to say. It's like, yeah, it's like You supplement your thing. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, sometimes I don't even finish my coffee.
That is 100% fact. I think, I like to have like the kid size. They should have a Naomi size, which is perfectly calibrated for how much she'll likely drink.
It depends on the day. It depends on the moment. Now the other thing to kind of go back with the creatine, I've tried to do I've tried the protein shakes. I've tried the creatine, drink and whatnot. I couldn't stay consistent with
You're a
it.
flavor person.
I am a flavor person.
So you need unflavored grades.
Well, I've tried the creatine gummies, like for the post workout.
Yeah.
And I can take that,
Okay.
but even then, it's like
You need unflavored grades because you can just mix it in whatever because it's literally unflavored. You can put it in whatever
the thing
you're
is,
having.
at the same time, it's like going ahead and doing the mixing because sometimes I'll just go right after workout and I'll just go eat something, as opposed to drinking it. So it's
Okay, but don't you have something to drink with your meal anyway?
not always. Sometimes I'm just finishing what I had in my water bottle downstairs.
Okay. So yeah, I guess it'd be one of those things like, because I mean, you don't have to take it all day. You can literally just take it. Okay, I'm gonna go to bed. I mean, have something to drink before I go to bed or whatever. You throw in like orange juice. It's literally unflavored. And actually, when Bill Phillips from EAS and Muscle Media first started talking about creatine in the late 90s, I remember they were saying that you should take it with grape juice anyway because it will release into your muscles cells better. So you can literally just have it with like orange juice in the morning, whatever. If you get a high quality unflavored creatine. Um, Kevin says, "Oh yeah, agreed, Jared. Caffeine is a supplement athletes swear by. If I count that, I'll be the same as Trevor with whey and creatine." And Inca said he meant to say caffeinated gum. Hey, no problem, man.
I've tried that too.
No problem. So in my case, I don't like taking a bunch of caffeine because I take in so much caffeine anyway that I feel like the effects attenuate for me. And I don't want to be the person who can take pre-workout and go to sleep and still take a nap, right? Also, I'm trying to avoid the crash, so I take pre-workout when I first wake up. But I use this is not a, I mean, I guess we do a what you call affiliate code with them, but I've been using G code for the longest time. The reason I use that Vice is because it doesn't make you crash. Because he designed it to be something that he could take and not crash. Because he was the first. Greg was the first test subject for it, right? And so I like it because I can take it and then I don't crash later on because I'll be up at like midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning trying to work.
And
I can't crash.
I have seen that on other supplements that he has taken in the past. It is not a good look for him.
Well, I mean, I don't want to be at work and crash.
Well, no, not at work or crash, but like when he's taking stuff to stay up, that's that will
things happened in my past. I think that's when I took that stuff and then I laid out an entire walkway.
You took off the carpet off the stairs.
Yeah.
I went to work, I came back.
She got home. I completed like 6 projects. She was like, "What have you done?"
Complete is subjective.
Completed. Uncompleted. Because I stopped working on them. So they were complete as far as I'm concerned. Let's see. Trevor said, "What about the special vitamins?" I heard they're all natural though. I mean, look. So I will say that that's another thing too, because a few years ago, so like right now, peptides and things like that are the thing that people were like kind of leery about. But I remember when creatine started to be talked about, it was one of the things that people were suspicious of. And I remember vividly getting we went to take our drug test. We got a drug test over at artillery school when I just joined the Marine Corps. And the person who was proctoring, not proctoring, but the guy who was like overseeing the drug test told us one of those those stories that you tell. He said, "Yeah, last time I gave this guy popped positive and he'd been taking creatine." I was like, and in my head, I was already deep in the fitness, right? And in my head, I'm like, "Oh, lie, lie, lie." Lie detector. I was like, okay. I just nodded my head, but I was like, come on, man. But at the time, people were terrified of it because they're like, "Oh, it's going to destroy your liver," and blah, blah, blah.
Now, When he says the special vitamins, I think he's also talking about, because I've seen supplement out there for like, it's like CBD or something like that. And
That's becoming more mainstream too. I mean, I don't want to take it,
I don't
but
use it or anything like that, so I have
Sure.
no idea.
but I think he's talking about anabolics and things like that, and
Okay.
performance enhancing things.
Okay.
Plus, I knew there was one I missed. Matt says, "Good morning, USA. What's up, man?" And then he's got a follow-up comment. It is say real food's the main thing, but I do use supplements to aid joint health. I use creatine, collagen, A to Z multivitamin, omega-3, and electrolytes. So the other thing I say about vitamins and supplementation in general is our food, our soil is not as nutrient rich in a lot of areas of the world. You know, where you live, the soil that the farmers use to produce your food is not necessarily as nutrient rich. And so because it's not as nutrient rich, the foods that are grown aren't as I would say it's not as overall beneficial as the foods that we might have gotten if we lived 100 years ago. For one thing, they don't do a lot of crop rotation. Um, See the whole thing with ethanol because American farmers got a subsidy. They might still get a subsidy to produce corn. And so there's very little crop rotation with corn, just for example, right? So if you have a lot of corn in your diet, you're not going to get the same benefits out of corn that Native American would have gotten in, you know, 1620 if they were eating it, right? So that's one of the arguments for supplementation is that, hey, we're just trying to, again, make up the deficiencies from our food. And I also say that it also depends on your palate because um, while I just said that your body's adapted to the foods around you, we also, if you're living in most places that have seasons, you're not adapted to eat that food year round. So you're going to end up, and I mean, this is like getting deeper and deeper into the weeds, but I'm just saying that it's not as simple as saying, well, I just eat real food. If you have a nice varied diet, sure, you can probably get away with it. But how many people eat roughly the same thing every week? So now there's going to be gaps. Just like if you do the same exercises all the time, there are going to be gaps. And then you need to do certain things to supplement to correct whatever imbalances are created by the fact that you're doing the exact same thing all the time. Um, Mike, it's a mixture of all eggs, chicken, steak, vitamins, protein shakes, electrolytes. Not a coffee guy, really, but heart and soil supplements. Uh, Since Warrior pre-workout.
That must be a brand for the Warrior.
So, Matt said I don't use and he says, oh, and creatine. Yes, like I said, creatine to me, Mike says creatine. Um, um, yeah, I mean, it's like literally, it's one of those things like just take it. Um, let's see. Carlos said I don't eat red meat, so pre-workout it is.
You see, I'm not really like, so I don't make myself personally. I love salmon. Like if I had to choose a fish, I'm more of a seafood as opposed to a freshwater. So more saltwater fish than freshwater fish is my preference. I just feel that I'm more hearty. But then also like I would choose chicken as opposed to steak. You're more of a steak kind of for like red meat.
Well, remember, we are at war with chickens in our family.
Oh God, please let's not bring this up.
I'm just telling you right now, they started in Naomi. They attacked me when I was a defenseless child, and it's been on ever since then. And they attacked me in a place where I should have been safe. It was my grandfather's home. I understand that Uncle Archie, Uncle Emily trained that chicken rooster to be a murderer. But the fact is, I've forgiven them because of that time Uncle Emily came and rescued me when I was in a bad neighborhood. And I run out of gas in Mommy's car up in DC. That's irrelevant. The point is, we're at war with chickens as a family.
What was it you put in the chat? Blink twice if you need help.
I stand on that. The chicken's dangerous. I'm helping the world. When I eat every chicken and every egg I eat.
Blink twice, it's going to be rapid fire.
If I eat an adult chicken, I just took out a killer. If I eat a baby chicken, like in an egg, I stopped the killer from progressing. I'm just saying.
Stay focused.
It's your fault, Carlos. Look what you started. Anyway, Trevor said creatine should not be confused with creatinine, which is a totally different substance, and that is an indicator of bad kidney function, which goes to Jared's comment I'll say this is part of the confusion. So again, I've been looking at stuff from creatine since 1997. Okay. But creatine has been studied, I'm not joking you, for over 100 years. And it is it's produced in red meat, okay? But it's produced in every animal, right? And so I'll tell you that the studies that you see about creatine conflate creatinine, as Trevor just said, with creatine. And the one of the things I don't like is when somebody says in a study, because it's just bad science, but they say, well, too much of X is bad for you. And so then by using that specific language, you're hitting emotional touch points in the people who are reading it or watching or listening to it, right? Because our brains are conditioned to pick up on, oh, this is a danger signal, right? And so when I had my CSCS, and I was part of the NSCA, and I would read like the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research and all that. You'd see stuff like this, right? Research studies and all this kind of stuff, and you could always tell the ones that um, were going. You could see a difference between how that same study was then referred to in a mainstream magazine, because they would use inflammatory language to get you to read the article. But if you go look at the actual study, it's just kind of like very calm, like, oh, well, this is what we noticed. All right. So I'm going to say that in general, whenever I see something that says too much of XYZ substance is bad for you, my immediate response is, well, too much water is how you drown. Oh, I don't know if I should show you this one. Hey, I'm gonna hold your hand. Carlos made a cup of coffee yesterday and didn't even sip it.
I've had that happen.
What?
I've had that happen. I've actually
Twins separated at birth.
I've actually made coffee and it's been on the Keurig. Had to go down and take a pull. And then by the time I actually remember that my cup of coffee is still upstairs, it's been a few hours. And so
Welcome to my world.
And-
Come out and I see just coffee just sitting there.
and I don't microwave my coffee.
I just look around. I'm like, well, you don't really like leftovers anyway.
Well, no.
You're not, yeah.
It depends. If it's like food that I've cooked that was really good,
Yeah.
like that,
If you order something from a restaurant and you get a to-go bag, it may or may not be eaten.
it depends. It depends.
Trevor said, Carlos, I've lost a level of respect for you after that coffee story.
It happened, Trevor. Don't be upset at him.
Matt says, have a drink while training, just mix it in and have it while training. Yes, exactly. That's like one of the easiest ways. So like if I'm trying to do like the vitamins thing, it's actually easiest for me if I just take them in pill form. But back when I was mixing them, I would drink it as my intro workout.
He would pop like 8 to
As an animal pack, yeah.
Yeah, the animal pack, and it's like 8 or like 12. It's a handful. So, and he'll just go ahead and now granted, you saw how he kind of just threw it up there. It's because
I have an injury, so my arm doesn't bend any more than that.
yes. So
I can't actually touch my mouth.
So he's learned to kind of like hook shot it
basically basketball every time I eat.
into his mouth.
I just throw it, come up close. I build up speed on the approach, and I fling it, flick it.
So there's no Patrick Ewing finger roll incidents when it
How
comes
does he start talking about how I take
because the Knicks are doing amazing
Hey,
right
you
now.
said that I was going off on tangents.
Should be allowed one tangent. Go Knicks.
Wow, that's a lot just happened. Let's see. Carlos said, I know, Trevor, I'm uncoachable. Trevor said, we all knew you were uncoachable, but you should keep those types of stories to yourself. Oh, wow. Okay. Trevor said, I had to quit one of my favorite energy drinks because it turned me extremely angry and aggressive later in the day. And I wish there was video of that, but okay.
I just have this image because, again, I had the pleasure of actually meeting Trevor in person, at last HomeGymCon. So I just picture you now with that statement.
Rage, yeah.
It's just enraged and like a Tasmanian devil. It's just
what's the dude from Mystery Men whose power was that he just gets mad? It was it'll come back to me. But anyway, yeah, that was I think his name was like Mr. Angry or something like that. I'm picturing it like that. Trevor said he remembers that thing about from the beat. Yes, because Trevor was in the army. For those of you who don't know, yeah, exact same thing. Like they try to tell us, oh yeah, you take creatine, you're pop positive on the test. I'm like, are you serious? I said, well, you might. Can I just go ahead and tell you? Go ahead, you caught me because I'm taking some. I took some this morning. I'm gonna take some right after this test is over. Carlos said that lack of good corn is why he's short.
You eat a lot of popcorn.
I just don't feel like that's a reason for your situation.
Do your movie reviews?
Turmeric. I have started taking that. Turmeric is supposed to be a good natural supplement for pain.
I use it for cooking.
And then let's see. Matt said I get my energy from rage and self-loathing. The forbidden pre. Okay. It sounds like you need to talk to somebody and
or you have your own personal recliner rage.
or just have or just do just a simple podcast episode and everybody watch that. Let's see. Don't let John near chicken coop. Hey, look.
So funny story on that one.
Yeah.
I actually bought a chicken coop.
Yeah.
At an auction. Brought it home. Had to go take it back. Because we're technically where we live, we could have hens.
Unfortunately, we can't.
Well, we could have hens, no roosters, because of where we live and neighbors. However, he's saying we couldn't. But actually, with the previous dogs that we had, no, we couldn't have chickens.
Yeah.
But
I have fed a friend's chickens and I restrained myself. So you can trust me near a chicken coop, but I don't want any chicken coops in my house. Not doing it. So we got a lot of people with suggestions for how you should handle your coffee situation.
I do like ice.
Trevor said just if it gets cold, just make more and warm it up. Carlos said microwave coffee should be a sin.
It is. That is a sin.
Let's see here.
However,
and Trevor said also remember the poppy seeds with the pea tester. Yes.
Yeah.
If you know, you know. They just basically try to scare you into not taking anything.
And a lemon poppy muffin was so good. But yeah, then the fact of working in healthcare and you could possibly have a random, test. It's like, yeah, I'm not gonna eat it.
All right, so
and we're completely off track.
We are, because we're almost on recliner rage.
So I
tell you what, we'll push the Aura Ring to another day.
Let's talk about the Aura Ring real quick.
We only got 3 minutes.
Speed test.
I got an Aura Ring. Here it is. Here we go. And we are going to go ahead and I'm tracking how I feel about using it because I'm still in the 2-week period. It literally showed up yesterday. Interestingly enough, I got a size for my index finger, for this index finger. And then I plan to put it on this index finger. And when it showed up, it didn't fit either index fingers. And so now it's on my ring finger on this hand. Okay. And that's pretty much Aura Ring talk, but I'll push the rest of it till next week. We're also getting some awesome content submissions from you guys. We got a new hotel gym tour coming from Winston. I think it's strong. Can't wait to see that. We also have a cool problem-solving video from Trevor, who is here in the chat this Chrono PM, and he applied project management principles to how he solved this problem. And I think it's an interesting video because it highlights something that normally people would either rant on social media about or spend money to fix the problem. And Trevor was in the situation, and he went through steps, and he was like, "Oh, I actually don't have to spend money because this is the fix." To me, it's less about the fix and more about how he went through the process to discover that he didn't need to go for an expensive solution or anything like that. So you guys watch for that. That's coming out. He also said, he sent me a text. He said he has new respect for YouTube content creators now. Keeping in mind now, he does a podcast, a weekly podcast. Yeah. But the idea of doing a video upload, he said, that was miserable. So, hey man, like it gets better. It gets better the more you do it. Ashley is shout out to 332. She's finishing up a nutrition-based reaction video for the channel. So we got a lot of cool stuff that's coming out within the next month or so. Give you guys some good content. And as always, these will all be collab videos so that it helps some person does the submission. It helps their channel grow as well. I do not want to miss this because I said I was going to talk about it, but our guy Mike got featured on Brandon Williams' YouTube channel. And I'm going to go ahead and screen share this really quick. We do not have time to do a lot on this, but I want to make sure we did show it. So I didn't really plan on showing this commercial, but anyway, yeah. Or that one either. But hey, shout out to not having termites and whatever. All right, so he was featured on this channel, and this is from Brandon Williams, who has 2.52 million subscribers. So, Brandon, well, you know, I'm always telling you guys that some of the biggest channels that are related to the home gym community are not, we don't really know about. So, this guy is basically a fitness kind of focused YouTuber. He's in really good shape. He's got like some really, he does some gymnastic stuff in the video. Shows that he's got some really cool capabilities. Anyway, so basically the premise is he just asked strangers to work on their home gyms, and one of the people who he chose was our guy Mike. And
I think he's like near the middle part.
Yeah, Mike comes on at the 9:31 mark. But it's an interesting video. I like it basically goes from least expensive to most expensive home gym you can find. What stood out to me are like the people's reactions when he knocked on their doors. What about you?
I mean, it was actually really, I watched the whole video. It was actually really cool. I was gonna say, go ahead and show, scroll to.
Well, I don't want to ruin.
You just gotta highlight. I mean, now
I'm gonna
granted,
skip that because he did a very good job of showing
the different levels of people's home gyms. There you go. There's Mike.
There's Mike right there.
With his home gym. And again, shout out to Mike. Thank you so very much for your support on the channel and whatnot. And you know, way to go on being featured on this video with Brandon. But just it was really cool because seeing how people designed their home gym, but also for the purpose that meets their need. Some of the people also featured in this in this particular video also train others. There's actually another home gym that is not your conventional home gym.
I'm telling you, it's worth it for you guys to
watch it. Definitely watch it.
It's very, very creative. He does have an in-video commercial, which I thought was really, really creative. It's one of the most creative I've seen.
I didn't realize it was a commercial, and so I was like, "Boy, that guy really looks like him."
Yeah. You're ruining. Okay.
Sorry.
Anyway, so it's really creative. I liked it. I will say that, and I said this in the comments, that I wish he had shared the YouTube channels or the Instagram profiles or something of the different people he profiled, because if somebody wanted to see more from that person, there's no way for them to find out who's there. He doesn't even put them in the video description or anything like that. I understand some of the reasons why he may not have wanted to put them up there, because you don't want people to go clicking on somebody's link and going away from your video. But if you put it in the description, people still have to do the extra work to go to that. And all you gotta do is put it down below whatever affiliate stuff you have in there. And so they would have already had an opportunity to scroll past all your affiliate links and whatnot. But I just wanted to make sure that, you know, we did talk about that. And like I said, it was a really interesting video. I will share that link in the description for this video so you guys can check it out. And I encourage you to check it out. So you guys can check it out after the show is over. Mike said that guy is swole. Hey, look, I saw he takes the shirt off and shows it, and the guy's like, oh, some guns. He's like, yeah. He's like, hey, I do this. Trevor said Will Tennyson does that too. Yeah, the weightlifter. Yeah. How does that ring work with wearing it and not damaging a barbell? So, first answer is Naomi has been using hers for almost a year now.
No, it's not an Oura ring. Because you have.
I know, but you've been using your ring.
Yeah.
And I haven't. Well, I don't typically use her bar, but I haven't seen any difference. But that is something I'll keep track of. Now, the major thing I will say though is it's not something that I actually really thought about, because I just.
Because I can answer that question.
I ain't really worried. It's not something I worried about, but that is a valid point. It's something to track. Go ahead.
You may actually want to, you may actually want to get the silicone cover on it, so that way. So it's like.
Won't that make it even bigger? Because right now, one of my things is that it doesn't, see how my fingers don't touch? This finger isn't touching. Like,
so yeah. So
whereas on this side, I don't have that problem.
You are gonna feel.
Related.
Are you tracking? We're tracking. We're tracking.
As long as we track.
As long as we're tracking. But
As long as we've been married way too long.
and right now we're not tracking. But you are gonna have to get used to having that feel when holding on to the bar. So you will notice a difference. It's like,
Oh, actually, you know what? I can also say, so this is a titanium ring. And I've worn it as a general rule, I've worn it for over 20 years.
Mhm.
And I've had tons of lifting sessions with it. And the bar is just fine on my left side. So the knurling isn't damaged by the titanium ring.
Mhm.
So I would imagine that the Aura ring shouldn't damage the bar on the right side, or maybe it'll just level out the damage if there is any, but I haven't really noticed any of it. Jared says, I do not wear my wedding ring during any upper body lifting, really not for legs either. It just comes off before lifting begins. And I mean, I know people do that. Even when I was in the Marine Corps, that we would say, you know, don't wear your wedding ring because we're working on heavy machinery and it'll get caught, it'll break your finger. Same thing when I worked doing public utility power work, but I take it off because, you know, and I'm like, look, dude, if I'm going to get hit with electricity, this ring isn't going to be the thing that makes the difference between me dying and not dying. Right? So I got my ring off because I don't take it off. Just like my dog tags, the dog tags don't come off. My wedding ring doesn't come off. But it is something that you have to be just used to. He said, when I tried, it bothered me most on a tricep rope or a neutral grip tricep movement. I mean, if it's something that you think about, I would say, yeah, go ahead and take it off. For the Aura ring, I plan to wear it because it's supposed to keep track of my work, right? So we're keeping track of it. I don't see, to me, it's like, well, I have it on because I'm making coffee, but take it off when I'm actually exercising, right?
I mean, I take off my my nice wedding ring. I take that off because I don't want to chip the diamond or anything like that.
That's what Trevor said.
But I do have the silicone for my ring.
Also say that one thing I don't like about silicone rings is they break and I got to replace it, and that's just a headache for me. I don't know.
I got a multi-pack.
And that's just too much. Anyway, so we're a little bit behind on Recliner of Rage. I'm gonna go ahead and jump into Recliner of Rage. Let me make sure that Jake is all set to join, and then you got to go and do the thing. Okay. So let's go ahead and go into our most popular segment, Recliner of Rage. All right, and we'll do that as soon as I can figure out how to get the.
It's the recliner of rage. It's the recliner of rage. Cause he's not happy.
Okay, so we'll probably be as calm as I can because I told you guys I do not want to wake up my parents, and but I still want to express my feelings. And that is today's recliner rate is dedicated to the fact that I do not have a mouse. Normally I use a mouse with this, but the table that we're using is very small, so it doesn't have room for a mouse. So we need to get a bigger table. We're gonna get a bigger folding table that we can use when we're here. So it'll have room, so it'll be a usable workspace. But it is so frustrating. Like it was, so I'll tell you. So first of all, it's like you have to hit on the corners if you want to use it to like point and click. If you hit in the middle, it pulls up a drop down menu, which is annoying when you're trying to just do something and instead you're getting a drop down menu pulled up and it makes me go high and to the right. So then I was just doing the rundown earlier today, just trying to finish up the rundown, the list of things we're going to talk about. And I put the thing in, and because I couldn't get the right thing, somehow I clicked something that made the computer start reading the rundown out loud to me. And so since I didn't know what I pressed to cause it to start doing it, I didn't know how to stop it from doing it. And suddenly, another time, same thing this morning, I clicked on something else, and it made everything zoom in and then zoom out. Like expand it and then minimize the screen. So the fact that I'm trying to do this show right now with all the stuff I do during the show, and I don't have a mouse, is making me extremely not happy. Okay, let's just say it like that. It's very, very irritating. Okay. Solution is I've got a mouse. I just need, and we need a bigger workstation desk anyway, but it's got to be something that we can fold up and put away when we're not using it so it doesn't get in the way. For example, when we're not here, because we plan to leave all this stuff here, as opposed to having to haul it all up here to us. Right. Um, so yeah, it's annoying. Let me see here. And in fact, let me get Naomi. I forgot. So because this applies that way, I was mentioning like the setup. So I'm gonna get Naomi to come take the picture. I'll just text her. Come take the picture of this magnificent setup, so you guys can see how the how the situation is currently. Um, yeah, it's so annoying. Anyway, Kevin said, now you know how I did Mailbag Monday on a laptop without a mouse. Dude, I'm telling you, it is living without a mouse is not your best life. He said screen share and live chat was crazy. I just have to make sure that I click in the right portions of the screen. I mean, not of the screen of the laptop, but it is annoying. So yeah. But you know what? We're gonna power through. All right, like the heroes we are. Um, we're gonna power through. There you go. There you go. Because I got posted on the thing anyway. So there we go. Yeah, so you can see. And put this on. And now using my mouseless life, I also have to make sure I can get my headphones to be the primary audio. Oh boy. So let's see if this works here. Okay, we should be good. All right, so yeah, so I'm about to post this on uh Instagram so you guys can see how I'm living right now. And I'm not living my best life, but I'm living it with y'all. Okay, and that makes it okay. Ashley, what's up? 332. Good to have you in here. And I was talking about how I gave them a tease about the project we're working on together. So I'm looking forward to seeing the finished product. And I think it'll be a really good thing for home gym content in general. And of course, it furthers our goal to make this channel a true magazine style experience for people. Um, I have tried trackball mouses. But I don't know. I guess I was born too many years ago for me to be cool with that. Like, you know how like you prefer the stuff that's close to what you kind of grew up doing. So yeah, my experience with computers after we went from the electric typewriters to computers was what is a regular mouse that you move, and so that's what I'm comfortable with. My brother is here. He says, "Morning, what's up, man? Hey, today's Friday. That's right." Uh, I'm at Daddy's house. Uh, okay. So anyway, now let's go ahead and we're going to add. We gotta add. What you call it? We gotta add button up and be kind of like professional now because we're about to add LinkedIn. Okay. All right. So moving on now. Let's see here. All right. So shout out to the Central Time Zone. And also, good morning to those of you who are just joining us on LinkedIn, uh, um, because we appreciate you guys being here. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're watching on LinkedIn, please make sure that you are following our LinkedIn page, um, Garage Gym Life, okay? That way you do not miss any of our interviews with some of the most influential decision makers in the home gym space, as well as the decision makers at the brands that make the home gym community possible. One of those decision makers who is he's always been influential, but I think that his influence is growing because of how he's affecting the space now. This is Jake Jaworski. He's the founder of HomeGymCon, which is the largest annual gathering of home gym owners around the world and the brands who serve them. So this is it's a truly international event. We got brands coming from Japan, Germany, China. Um, I don't know if we have anyone from the UK, but we do have Australia. So I want to say we have people coming from Brazil. I believe that's the furthest any ticket purchaser has come so far. And this year is proving to be the biggest ever, which is a good thing in year 4. So Jake's about to join us, and he's going to give us, and number one, an update on what is going on with Home Gym Con. And then we're also going to ask him, I'm just going to ask him some questions about the industry as well, because he has been in the space for some time. So everybody, let's go ahead and give a warm welcome to Jake Jaworski. What's up? To the stage. What's up, man? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Hey, dude, I'm out here. I'm living off the land like my ancestors. Okay, an alternate location. So let's go ahead and start with what what I enticed you onto the show with, which is give us an update on Home Gym Con. And then I also want to make sure, don't let me forget, because I want to talk a little bit about the Garage Gym Radio, the podcast that you do with Mike, because you guys are covering some really cool topics. So I want to make sure before you leave that, you kind of let people know like what's going on, what you have coming up, and some of your recent topics. Okay. But let's start with what people want to know the most. And so give me an update on Home Gym Con.
All right. Well, I thought you did a pretty good job of going over it.
I'm a
Home Gym
worst.
Con, I think the big thing is it'll be here before you know it. We're 9 weeks out. It like you said, it's coming back bigger and better. About 140 companies have signed up so far. We've got 8 competitions, people coming from all over the world, not only vendors, but we're starting to see some international tickets come through. We're getting a little bit of some people, some other sorts of media have started to become interested in checking out the event as well, which has been cool. I just think, coming back bigger, better. Not much more to say other than that. There's been I've seen a lot of like really cool prototypes that people are bringing. There should be some awesome new releases. With it going into year number 4, a lot of the companies have been here 1, 2, 3 years prior. And I just think they kind of know what the task is now, and they're taking it a lot more seriously. And a lot of companies have actually really started preparing their launches around Home Gym Con, which has been pretty cool.
One of the things that I wanted to make sure we talked about is when, I try to put myself in the shoes of someone who is attending for the first time. And when you see how big it is and who's going to be there, even you watch some of the coverage from last year, it can be intimidating, especially if you're a content creator. You're like, okay, I'm going to go there and it's my first time there. I'm going to make some content too. All right. I'm going to, get involved. And I think that's fantastic. But I think that can be intimidating. What would you say is some of what would you say some best practices, maybe for somebody who's we're going to divide it up. First-time content creator and then first-time attendee. I'm just going to have fun. So let's start with the content creators. What would be some tips that you could give for somebody who's attending for the first time, in terms of making it so that they're, they get what they need out of the event?
Yeah, I think I'd also be curious to hear what you have to say. But from my perspective, it's what I think is missed is just the opportunity to build relationships as a whole for your future and going forward. So when you're a content creator, it's not just about creating content at the booth. It's about meeting all of these companies and trying to figure out a right match for who you want to work with in the future. So that would be my general advice to all of the content creators. is, really do research on who's coming to the show, who you would like to meet in person, and really gear up for trying to find partnerships for the long term, as opposed to, just trying to get content at booths. And I think with it being spread out to 3 days again, it gives everybody an opportunity to do that. And that's really just one of the primary goals of this event, is to get as many influential people within the space to help grow the industry as a whole. Because there's just something about meeting somebody in person that gives you that you just have better conversations, you build rapport. It's much easier to contact them after, once you've met them. So yeah, that would be my general high level advice. Don't just and then I also really believe in finding the right partnership for the long term over just doing content for content's sake, or trying to get a quick hit, as far as I would say my advice would be to I always believe in if you want to get a job, do something for free first, prove your value. And I think at HomeGymCon is your opportunity to do that.
I agree with that, especially about the building relationships thing. I'll say that, and maybe I should do a blog post about this. That way people can just look at it and go down the checklist, but I'll just keep it to 3 things. First, number 1, be intentional. One, where I see people struggle because it can be overwhelming, is you don't go with a plan, and then you just see a bunch of stuff. It's like you let a kid loose so they don't have Toys R Us anymore. But when I was younger, there's a Toys R Us, you have Toys R Us, and it's basically a store full of just toys, right? And you go there, and you have parents that go into Toys R Us, and they, hey, we're gonna go buy you something for your birthday or whatever, right? The kid walks into Toys R Us, and there's stuff everywhere, and they just freak out, what is this? We took our daughter-in-law to the DeKalb farmers market here. It's got a lot of different fruits, vegetables from around the world, right? And so a lot of with ethnic foods, all kinds of stuff, right? And she loves to cook. We go in there, and again, it's just like that. There's live fish swimming. There's cabbages from all over the place, and you're like, I don't even know where to start. And you can actually get stuck. And that's something that I saw as a common theme with people who are making videos of their first HomeGymCon experience. They're like, oh, yeah, I went in, I didn't have a plan, and it kind of got overwhelming. And also think about the fact that there's 140 booths to visit now, plus all of the competitions, plus all of the people who will be there. Think about the fact that as a home gym owner, you probably lean a little introverted. And so all of a sudden you're going to be in a space with tons of other people. And we actually found that it was helpful to get away. It becomes so overwhelming that you get overstimulated and you have to get away. So what I say is, if you want to be productive, have a plan, go on the HomeGymCon website, pick out, let's say, maybe 3 to 5 brands that you're I definitely want to see them, right? And then say, all right, I'm definitely going to those brands. Let's say you're going for 2 days. So, okay, day 1, I'm going to go to these brands. Day 2, I'm just going to walk around and just feel the vibe and explore, and whatever I see, whatever catches my eye. I think that's the first thing. Is don't let yourself get overwhelmed, in the way you control the chaos is by having a plan. Second thing is, I agree with what you said about doing free content first. And I would say prioritize the smaller companies, because they typically don't get as much attention anyway. So they're going to be excited. First of all, they'll have more time probably to give you in-depth looks at their stuff, because they're not going to be mobbed. If you go to the rep booth, they're going to have a ton of people there. The road booth, they're going to have a ton of people there. But if you go to somewhere smaller, you're going to get a chance to spend time with the equipment, get to know about it. And then you are probably going to be one of the few creators that's got a video on that booth and on those products. So now your channel is going to be like the go-to place if somebody wants to know about that product, right? So that gives you some unique content. And it's going to be greatly appreciated by some of the smaller companies. So don't try to be don't be like the Me Too. I don't want to use Me Too because of the connotation, but don't be like, oh, I also saw the leg press from Rogue. Don't be that guy. You know what I mean? First of all, that's boring. Right? Because they're like, I know you've said the same thing. It's like, after you've seen so many videos about the same product, it all starts to kind of blur together. So seek out some different things. And then the final thing is look for ways to collaborate. First of all, meet other content creators. Don't just ignore them as we're walking around, because you'll see who we are. I'm going to tell you right now, don't hesitate. You can come up to me anytime as long as I'm not actively, don't be like some of the, like what happened at HFA. Remember I told you we're at HFA and I was actually filming something and somebody walked right in front of the camera to say hello to me. I was happy to see him, but I'm just like, hey, give me 2 more minutes. Let me finish and then I'm happy to talk to you. So as long as we're not doing something like that, we're very, very approachable. You guys can talk to us. Most of the other content creators, regardless of how big their channels are, very, very approachable. We genuinely enjoy meeting you guys. When people say, hey, I want to take a picture with you, I actually, Carlos from Synergy Custom Fitness can vouch for this. I actually got emotional. I was like, people want to take a picture, like they care enough about what we do to want to take a picture with me. And I was like, am I getting like misty-eyed? And I actually was. And then Ashley walked up like right after that and says, hey, can we take a picture? And Carlos just started laughing. So that's what, and then I just dropped my phone. But so that's one of those things. It's like, but build relationships there, right? It doesn't matter if it's somebody like, man, I've always wanted to talk to that person, pick their brain. Just literally walk right up to them. Hey, I'm so-and-so. I love your stuff. See, I just gave y'all the intro, the best intro line. Hey, I'm so-and-so. I love your stuff. Can I ask you a couple of questions? Okay, we just talk for a minute. I just want to pick your brain for just a second. I think that's really, really underrated, because while I see a lot more collaboration between content creators, I think there could always be more. You know what I mean? A lot of cross-channel collaboration. So those are just my top 3 things. I've got many more. But yeah, that's what I would say. Now let's go with best advice for somebody who's just attending. Like they're just saying, hey, look, I'm just coming to see what this is all about. For the Arnold, I usually tell people take a backpack, because you're going to get so many free supplement samples and different things. Get a backpack, put it in the backpack, and then take it back to your hotel room and then walk around with empty hands the rest of the day, because every company that gives you a sample is going to give you a bag. Well, that's starting to happen at HomeGymCon. They're giving you goodie bags, right? So now you walk around looking like you're carrying groceries all day, right? Take a backpack and whatever you buy, and I encourage you buy from the vendors if that's for sale. But any kind of swag you get, we'll stuff it in the backpack, take it back to your hotel, come back and continue to enjoy the event. That's one of my first pieces of advice for someone who's just attending. What would be something you'd say, this is your first time there, you're just attending, how can we make this a successful weekend for you?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Bring a backpack, bring good shoes. You're gonna be walking around all day.
Oh yeah.
And then as far as like whoever's attendees, I think there's levels to it. Is this like something you geek out on and you want to check out everything? I would say make sure you're there for more than a day. Because like you said, once you walk in, you're like, where do I go first? Where do I go first? I have no idea where to even go. So if you're coming for multiple days, I would say, where's as comfortable as clothes and shoes, and bring a backpack as possible, and just like take your time. And also if you're just coming by Saturday, for example, I think, I don't really know. I don't really know exactly what the best advice is for somebody who's just coming in for a day. I think come in with a plan, just kind of similar to a content creator, but just know that there's a lot. Like, I show the map all year round, but I think most people can't comprehend what that actually looks like.
No. Yeah.
So like this room is going to be huge. There's going to be literally tens of thousands of pieces of gym equipment in one room. So yeah, I don't know. I think the biggest thing that I would say to just everybody is give yourself enough time so that you can have fun. I think that's one of the things I don't see talked about in like the forums, for example. People you know, they say who's going to HomeGymCon, and you know, some of the comments are like, I don't know if it'd be worth it just to save 10% on this, or I already have everything I need. So I think part of it that's missing is just like, it's an experience. It's your opportunity to go and meet the brands. It's not just about the equipment. And if you allow yourself to have some extra time, it is, you know, it's, and this is your thing, like the home gym stuff is your thing, you're going to love it. Like there's not many people that walk out and are like, so yeah. I think, I don't know, I don't have too much advice. And it's really, you know, the event has grown so much each year. It's hard to compare year after year, because this year really is going to be substantially larger. I think one thing that I would mention is you know, we're probably doubling in attendance this year, and I would say we're open from 4 to 8 Thursday. Friday is 10 to 5, and then 9 to 4 on Saturday. I will say Saturday will undoubtedly be the busiest day. So if you really want to come and really test out the equipment, the best time will be Thursday and Friday. And I understand a lot of people can't get off work and Saturday is the only option, but those are the best days for the content creators to film content, and for you guys to really get FaceTime with the people behind the brands and really get a really good look at everything without any lines or anything like that. So that would be my advice. Just like, you know, take it seriously. This is a once in a year opportunity that just doesn't happen. So yeah. What about you? What would you say? What would you say to the first time attendees, or, you know, even just people coming in for a few days?
So what you just said, before I touch on that, what you just said made me think of something, which is how I know it's a good conversation. I love it when this happens because it makes me think of something else. The thing about, you know, Thursday and Friday being your best days to get in depth with products is also good advice for content creators. Remember I said, like, identify the brands who you want to talk to or who you want to visit. Feel free to reach out to them and make sure that you let them know, like, kind of like workout days that you're going to come by, because if you're like, oh, well, I'll just do it on Saturday, that might not be a good idea. Because one thing that I know people, it's not a huge complaint, but something that people have said that they didn't like as attendees is when they go to a booth and the people at the booth ignore them because they're giving a tour to a content creator, right? And so let's be sensitive to that. And I would say, as a general rule, try to use Saturday because the crowds are going to make everything fantastic. So try to use Saturday for B-roll. Go back to the same booth you were at before and just use Saturday and just catch B-roll of the crowds at that booth, right? Crowds of, you know, what they call atmosphere shot, like of the entire event, that kind of thing, especially if you're doing like vlogs or something like that. Saturday's a great day to get atmosphere shots of the entire event because it's going to be huge, right? Use Thursday and Friday as work days. Like I'm gonna get most of my interview talking stuff done Thursday and Friday. That way I don't negatively impact someone else's time, and I don't make it so that they don't enjoy the event. All right, so as far as attendees go, I'm going to just keep it basic. Look, first of all, if you're like me and you wear barefoot shoes a lot, this Home Gym Con is going to be when you want to buy shoes with a thicker insole and even potentially think about getting insoles into your shoes. We live and die by the fact that we take our compression sleeves, we take the high-priced compression sleeves with us to Home Gym Con. We did it last year, and we were so glad because you're going to need recovery time because of all that time spent on, you're literally walking around, even if carpet is down, it's still a concrete floor, right? You walk around on concrete floors, unless you've worked in a warehouse for years, you don't know how bad that feels on your knees. Every injury that you've got, you'll feel. So be nice to yourself and get some good shoes, comfortable shoes for that day. And I would obviously try them out, but I wouldn't really wear them a lot until that day. I would also say wear workout clothes because that way you can actually work out on the stuff. Don't show up in jeans and boots or whatever, and then you can't actually enjoy using some of this equipment. Like you're about to go to Home Gym Disneyland. You want to ride the rides, right? If you go with your kids, make sure you take them to the swing sesh booth. Okay? Take them to the swing sesh booth, even if you don't have any plans. I mean, shout out to, swing sesh. I'm not trying to take away your sales, but even if you don't plan on using the stuff, even if you don't plan on buying it, still, the fact that you see your kids able to use the swing sesh booth, that actually is good for them because now somebody else who might want to buy gets to see kids playing on it and they see how user-friendly it is. So go to the swing sesh booth, and that'll burn some of the energy off your kids so they're not quite as much of a handful. Let's see, and let me see here. We have some questions for you, and let me go ahead and make sure I get them right now. See here. So my brother said he's going to be there in the flesh for his first time at Home Gym Con. So I cannot wait to show him the event. I think it's going to be, man, you're going to have a good time. Jared said, Jake, do you anticipate having to limit how much booth space a vendor can reserve for future Home Gym Cons? Which is a good question. Again, that's something I didn't think about. It's growing so much. Are we seeing the end of, remember that year that World reserved like this ginormous space? Are we seeing the end of that? Are we going to outgrow the convention center?
I don't think that's on my radar yet. I think, we're still trying to get as many companies as possible. And, really the strategy is to create something that any small business can attend. It's not like overly priced. Right. And then something that a large company can go all out to build their brands. Where a 10 by 10 at HFA or Arnold is like $5,000-$6,000.
Oh yeah.
So really want to be that we really want to keep that. That is something we want to keep every year, no matter how large Home Gym Con grows. Having that kind of strategy in mind to help compete against some of these other shows that are larger, more established. I don't think any company is going to come in and say we want a third of the space. So I don't think that's an issue now. Also, just being able to fill the entire room is a huge win. So when companies do come back bigger, it's greatly appreciated, and it shows that companies value Home Gym Con as a really good platform for their brand. That said, we definitely don't want some of these companies with more resources to overshadow it too much. So if somebody was to come in and say, we want, the largest booth right now is 3,000 square feet with Rep Fitness. But at the Arnold, or HFA, there are, like HFA, for example, there are probably 15 companies that have spaces double the size of a rep, you know? So,
Oh yeah.
so like, we're just not there yet. So where we're seeing companies who want an exorbitant amount of space. I think for a lot of the people who see HomeGymCon, they just don't know what some of these other shows, trade shows in the industry
Yeah.
look like, you know? So
Yeah. I think that's
it's a good question.
This is, I'm showing the floor map right now on screen so people can get an idea of how much bigger it is. And I'll say that one thing that is, to me, an easy, not inexpensive, but an easy way to kind of automatically give yourself more floor space as the show grows, or as the convention grows, is to move the competitions into a different room, right? Like they do at some other conventions and trade shows and whatnot. You just move it into a different room, because then you're automatically going to get all the space back from the strongman competition, the powerlifting, all that other stuff. You lose some of that vibe of having all the competitions at the same time, but that also benefits them as well in a way, in a sense, because now you don't have competing sounds from the announcer having to battle the crowd noise. At the same time, you're gonna reduce their audience size, potential audience size, people discovering the event. But look, it's a balancing act. But I think that would be something you could do before you have to limit the size of booths. Then I want to show you guys really quick, as I mentioned my setup. So I'll show you guys real fast. This is what I'm currently. This is my current situation here in this corner of my of the guest bedroom of my dad's. There you go. That's that guy right there. Okay. That's what we're doing right now. Okay. All right. We spared. I told you I'm living off the land like my ancestors. Okay. So that's the current situation. All right. Anyway, but yeah, that's okay. That's okay. All right, so then let's see, got a comment about, so Jared said the shoe thing, Whiten does make inserts for the shoes. For those of the wide toe barefoot shoes, they help a ton too. Yeah. I literally, when we came back from Home Gym Con, I told Naomi, I said, we need to get an insole sponsor. I said we need to, when the call Dr. Shows, and see if we get a box of inserts just sent out to us, or whatever, or whoever. And I'm serious. Yeah, send me some inserts. I'll talk about it, I promise, a lot. But I think that the big thing is really, as far as I was like having like some time to just kind of like take a breath and decompress a little bit, then go back in. That was also something that was valuable. So like it's not going to be as much because the vendors asked for less time on the floor. So they asked for like the amount of time to be a little bit shorter in terms of like how many hours the event is open. So this may not be a big deal, but I know that we actually, going back to the building relationships thing, we went out to lunch with some of the other content creators during HomeGymCon. We said, hey, let's just go grab lunch real quick, right? Gets you off your feet, gets you some time to decompress, get a chance to talk without having to like make yourself heard over the noise of the crowd, and then you go back in. This is something that we started doing when Naomi and I attended the Arnold. We would take a break, go eat, come back, dive right back in. So I like that. Kevin said his foot is in Vivos right now, and he just got home from work, so I get it. Hey, Kevin also said, wish I could join next time, Jake. When Japan catches up on the home gym market, I hope I'll be there with a vendor. Dude, we still have a campaign to get Kevin to Home Gym Con. We got to get Gentleman Fitness Club to bring Kevin along. Hey, make sure you bring Kevin, because that's my dude. I want to ask you something. It's kind of like more about an industry thing, because you do spend a lot of time talking to different brands. And I just want you to see, if you want to know if you see what I'm seeing. So I'm seeing, I talked about this last week a little bit more in depth, but I'm seeing brands start to circle back to using big name, high profile people like professional athletes in some of their promotional stuff. Some of that is just they can afford it now, right? Maybe in the past they used smaller influencers because it's cheaper to get me than it is to get Cooper DeJean, from the Philadelphia Eagles to rep your brand or whatever, right? But do you think that the fact that we're seeing more and more of this, brands like Rich Fit, Rep Fitness, going with more high-profile people, professional athletes and stuff, do you think that this means that there's going to be a trend to pivot away from smaller content creators?
I think it's two different strategies. When I think about the home gym space in general, and then when you go down to specific brands, I think, even somebody like Rep Fitness, 95% of the US or more, 98% does not know Rep Fitness exists. So like when you look at the broader population, I think companies like Rep bringing in Cooper DeJean and focusing them on their home gym is good for the space for all. It's kind of like the same way I look at HomeGymCon. It's like the bigger and more influential HomeGymCon gets, the more it helps the industry as a whole. Whether you're at HomeGymCon or not, it gets more eyeballs in the space. So I think
Blue Ocean strategy.
Yeah, Blue Ocean strategy. So I think companies like Rogue and Rep and RipFit, who are getting more of some of the athletes or general influencers with like millions of followers. I think if you're like a content creator and you're like, and you're kind of upset about it, like, they're spending all their time with this person versus that person. I think it's because the company's thinking larger, and ultimately that will trickle down to get more eyeballs onto you. It's actually a good thing when companies do that. And then as far as I mentioned strategy, I think, when you're looking at somebody like Cooper DeJean, it's more for brand awareness, whereas
sorry to cut you off, but I just realized some people may not follow football. So the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl 2 years ago. Cooper DeJean is one of the players on their team. He's a cornerback, okay? And so he's got a deal with Rep Fitness right now. And then I think Rep also has one with somebody from the Kansas City Chiefs as well. I forgot his name, but I know they do. But anyway, go ahead. That way people are like, who's Cooper DeJean?
Cooper DeJean, there's
reviews.
NFL players.
Yeah.
And then, so I think it's more for broader reach. And then I think how the content creators, most of the content created these days is more focused on like SEO. It's a lot of the content creators aren't really creating content for entertainment for the masses. And a lot of these like really specific reviews, they're just simply not going to reach, my neighbor, who's starting to think about a home gym. So I think the touch points with these professional athletes, and, we're starting to see I feel like 1/3 of Jesse James West's videos are home gyms. Mr. Beast has some stuff on like building out a gym. And I think like a lot of the content created from like mega influencers in the home gym space is a really good thing for the space as a whole in general. And it shows that the home gym just makes sense, and it's going to continue to grow. It's not just a fad. So I think when you look at it like that, you have to understand that there's just different sides to it.
But yeah, I 100% agree. I think so. For anybody who's like really paying attention, our channel is moving more towards like general entertainment for a broader audience appeal. Now, one of the downsides to that so yes, you do get more eyes on you. One of the downsides to that is you get more people who are not as accustomed to some of the habits that help smaller channels. So like and subscribe, for example, right? So a lot of people watch stuff on YouTube. Think about, so anybody who's watching this, right? Think about when you first started watching stuff on YouTube. You watched because you're trying to find out something. You didn't like and subscribe because somebody did a video showing you how to start your lawnmower, right? You just watched the video and you moved on. So when I found that when we've broadened out into more of a general entertainment, kind of like, hey, check out this cool thing, whatever, type of deal, we still get likes, but we get fewer comments so that our engagement rates aren't as good, even though the views might be up because more people just see it. There's also a lot more pressure because some random person doesn't know who I am. So there's a lot more pressure to catch them within the first 30 seconds so that they finish watching the video. So there's that. But what to kind of piggyback on your point, what can help the smaller content creator is, I watched In Season Hard Knocks because they did the NFC East last time, and my favorite team is in the NFC East. Anyway, another Philadelphia Eagles player, he had a Rogue Fitness, he had a Rogue sled, right? So I'm thinking if somebody watches that and it's like, oh, I wonder what that is, right? And they want to find out what kind of Rogue sled that is. They look it up. What you want is to make sure that your video about the Rogue sled pops up as a result for that person who just happened to watch this mainstream thing that featured the product. Then when somebody wants to actually find out more about it, your video pops up and you can say, yeah, hey, as seen this recent video, hey, you guys have seen, because I see it happen in other topic areas too, where they'll say, oh, well, you just saw so-and-so use this product in this movie. What is it? And then, boom, now you're talking about it, right? Oh, I got you, right? And so there's a little bit of synergy maybe. And there could be, you can even, if you do it right, you can develop a symbiotic relationship with some of the larger channels or larger platforms or whatever that are out there. And so I think that's a potential good, a good result. Ashley has some advice about.
Yeah, let me just add one thing before you get on to the comments. I would say, like, you also have to keep in mind, like, let's say Rep is, getting these athletes. There is a trickle down effect to other companies as well. So Rep is spending this market or spending this money and educating the market on, how many people look up, how many 23-year-olds guys look up to Cooper DeJean? Probably a lot.
Yeah.
They see Cooper DeJean has an awesome home gym. They want to be like Cooper DeJean. They start looking into Rep, and they're like, oh, I want to find something cheaper. And then they stumble across this review from Carp's Gym, for example, about like a cheaper option than what Rep is selling. And then, they get into the home gym scene slowly but surely. But yeah, they're creating like they're making the home gym cool and showing the practicality of a home gym. And then this younger generation, they're like, oh, when I get my first house, I want to build a home gym. So that ultimately helps everybody. And it's like kudos to Rep for bringing in those people to educate the market, because it's not cheap, I'm sure.
Heck no. And I mean, it's not, and here's the thing. So I remember when we first started doing like home gym tours in 2018, and coincidentally, my brother who's watching was the first person who we did a home gym tour with. It was funny because I had every time we did one of those back then, I'd explain to people what it was. And they're like, so you think somebody's going to want to actually watch a video of my gym? Like, why would they want to do that, right? And but I would say that pro athletes and entertainers have had home gyms for decades, because when you get to a certain level, so for example, Body Solid outfitted Michael Jordan's gym. I don't think he has his gym outfitted by them anymore, but when he was actually playing for the Bulls, they outfitted his home gym. Why does he need a home gym? Well, can you imagine Michael Jordan at the height of his popularity trying to go to any public gym anywhere? Like, he wouldn't be able to get his workout done, right? So you had a lot of people at those levels who have home gym. And you can go back and look in the archives. You see like Clint Eastwood had a home gym. Different actors. One of the guys who played Tarzan had home gyms, and so it's just one of those things where it's like, oh, we're just kind of like having these people who already have been doing this thing kind of start showing how it fits into their lifestyle. And yes, and now it's like, oh, well, maybe you want to do that same thing too. Maybe you can't afford a full home gym, but I bet you can afford a set of these adjustable dumbbells that we happen to sell and get yourself started here in your bedroom, in your parents' bedroom or whatever, or the bedroom of your parents' house. So yeah, I agree. I think it's an awesome trickle down effect. It's like anything else, you just got to figure out how to make it a strength or an opportunity, like a SWOT analysis. Make it an opportunity instead of something that crushes you. I asked about tips for content creators who are attending, and I actually had a comment about that. She said, my advice is talk to the vendors. Yeah, like really talk to them, find out the why behind their business, like understand who they are as people. And that goes back to building that relationship, because you may not want to work with a company if, once you like, I don't mean like they're bad people, but I mean, you know what, this is just not a good fit for me or you, let's just not waste time. Right. And then in other cases, you're like, man, dude, I love you guys so much. I want to invite y'all over to the house for dinner, and to me, those are the best relationships on a business level to create, because you find you actually like the people. Now you're like emotionally invested, in their business succeeding. And I think you end up doing a better job on any project you collaborate with them on. So I actually said, talk to the vendors, talk to the people around you who are visiting, because the community is the best part, 100%. I think one of the best things that came out of HomeGymCon is the picture taking that I mentioned earlier. That you see people just standing and taking pictures with their friends who they may not have seen since the last HomeGymCon. And that is one reason why, I'm just making a generalization, but most people who attend HomeGymCon continue to attend HomeGymCon. Like year after year, they come back. It doesn't matter that if they don't want to buy anything, they're like, oh, I can't wait to see so and so at HomeGymCon again. You know what I mean? Or let's go out and like you guys used to do at in French Lick, they would go out to the bar and just hang out at the bar till all hours, just talking, right? So like some of those are the best relationships you build right there. And speaking of the man, gotta say, he showed up and said, yep, that's how we know the stream is official now. What's up, Cart? Let's see, make sure I don't miss any. Yes. So Carp said, yeah, Mark Wahlberg, The Rock. Yeah, these are all people who have home gyms, and you just don't even think about it because, well, they got a home gym. So that being said, though, I think you kind of touched on it. What's your best advice for how a content creator with a smaller channel should approach a brand at HomeGymCon to establish a relationship? Like, do you advise reaching out ahead of time? Like, hey, I'm going to be at HomeGymCon. I want to come by your booth. Like, what would you do if you're in their situation? Well, actually, when you first started trying to market HomeGymCon to brands, like, what was one of your strategies for reaching out to get the ball rolling?
Well, I mean, I think the first companies that I started reaching out, or the first companies that agreed to HomeGymCon, were the ones that I had already had a rapport with. And they kind of like
interviewed.
Yeah, people I interviewed, and I had been in the space for a while, did a lot of free work and I think it's and I think like I had like good intentions as far as like, I think this is something that could bring you value. But yeah, the most difficult companies were the ones that I had never done any work with before, or maybe they weren't necessarily as connected to the home gym community. And, so a lot of those companies still haven't signed up. But, I think basically what you're getting at is, just like I would say to reach out beforehand if there's someone who's you definitely want to talk to. And yeah, just understand that, like, if you don't do that it might be kind of a guessing game as far as like when you can meet them, because you know you might swing by their booth and they're busy, and you make a round, you come back, they're busy. So I would certainly target some people that you would love to do work with, and just think about the ones who need you the most. Those are the ones who are going to be most apt to giving you some time. There's a lot of one-man crews as well, so it might be a little bit easier to reach out to, you know, some of the smaller companies who you're going to be able to talk to an owner, whereas like Rep and Rogue and Riff it might be a little different, but like it might be hard to get in touch with the right contact. Whereas
that's the point.
Small companies, there's only one contact usually.
Yeah.
So
well, then it's hard to get in touch with them because they're busy working. They're not like on social media all the time. So like think about Bell Fit Strength. It's like you send them a DM. That's not how you get in touch with them.
Yeah,
you know,
and yeah, you also just have to, you know, we've said this, but it is so much easier to email somebody after you have met them in person, even if it's just like a quick 1 minute. Hey, this is who I am. Just wanted to come say hi, respect your work. So much better after you're saying, oh, it was great to meet you, and then whatever message you want to send. So also, like, again, free work. Go to someone's booth, give them an Instagram post, and you know they might be indebted to you. And it's also, you know, I'm rambling now, but it's also a numbers game. It is certainly a numbers game. The more people that you can connect with, you're not every single one's going to be a home run. You know, you know, you might talk to 100 people and 10 people are the ones that you come out with really solid relationships with, and it's a good match. But 10 is great. 10 is a great number. One connection from going to these events can change your entire business. There's potential.
Oh, heck yeah. So I'll tell you guys some of because I know somebody out there's gonna be like, well, I have a smaller channel, so why would they care if I do an Instagram? Say I'll do an Instagram post, right? All right, so I'm gonna give you a little bit of a lower tech option for helping out, and that's something that actually our guy Trevor did. Show up early and help them put their booth together. Especially if it's like one person, right? To show up, say, hey, can I help you load or unload your booth? You know, that's building a relationship because I promise you are definitely adding value to that person. I got Jameson. I don't know if Jameson's watching right now, but Jameson is in charge of the volunteers. If you can't, just reach out to Jake and he can put you in touch with Jameson. But that's an underrated way. If you got a smaller channel, you just want to start building some relationships with people, with brands. Help them put their booth together. And I'll also say that if you help them put their booth together, guess what you're learning about? You're learning about their equipment because you got to build it, right? And so they're going to teach you like all these little tips and hacks and ways to put stuff together that you wouldn't know because, you know, you've never done it before, but they've assembled that gadget 1,000 times. So they can say, okay, well, you just do this. Now maybe you do a product review for them, and now you know how to put it together at your house. You just save yourself some pain, suffering, and heartache at home because you kind of got a crash course in how to assemble stuff, and you also know the why behind the product. So that is something else that I would say would be a good thing to do, and you never know what that could lead to. You know, next HomeGymCon, they may say, hey, look, you did a good job helping us out. Why don't you come, you know, we'll pay your way to HomeGymCon next year. Or I'm not telling you, guaranteeing that. I'm just saying that you never know what can come out of that. But I think Sean said he's done that. Go ahead.
I was going to say, do you have any specific examples of your time at HomeGymCon?
Yeah. So let's say, so to finish Sean's comments, that I've reached out to a few companies to offer to help turn wrenches. Yeah. And so I'll say, so we had a video project that's still in the works, and we invited a couple of brands out to dinner. It was after the VIP, like the mixer. Then we went out and ate dinner with a couple of brands, and we just, you know, to say, I mean, it wasn't like extravagant. It was like, hey, let's go grab a pizza, right? We sat down, we talked to them, and we built a rapport that's led to us working on this project together. That, you know, I think it's going to be a big deal. It's going to be a really cool thing. That's one thing. And then I think also being creative about how you want to do your content. So like with Bells of Steel, you know, I could have said, hey, they were good enough to sponsor our trip to HomeGymCon, right? And I was like, I don't want, and they're like, well, what do you, you know, what are your ideas for content? And I said, well, how about we do, I said, how about we ask people, we give away your gift cards that you want to give away anyway. How about we give them out to people and we'll film it, but in exchange for them to get the gift card, they have to answer like random questions about Canada because Bells of Steel is from Canada. And they're like, oh yeah, that's a really cool idea. So of course I don't know anything about Canada. So they had to like reach out to the Canadian employees to get like the questions. Anyway, that's like one of our most popular videos from HomeGymCon. And it was a lot of fun to do. We just went around, everybody who we asked questions on camera enjoyed it. We got some good positive buzz for Bells of Steel. We got people to their booth. So now they're not having to send people out with the gift cards, which was the original plan, which is send employees out to hand out gift cards. Nah, let's do it this way. It makes it more fun, right? So we save them some legwork. And I think that that's a really good one. But I know tons of people who just who've actually gotten free equipment because they helped brands put stuff together, put equipment together.
Are there any booths this year that you're especially excited to see?
Gentleman Fitness Club. I want to see their dual adjustable bench in person. I want to see what the surface texture of the bench is. And that is based strictly on Kevin talking about it. And then Jared said he's already got the one that they're bringing. It's spoken for. It's his. So I'm trying to get him. If I like it, I want him like, hey, let's get him to bring two, right? Can they bring two? So Gentleman Fitness Club, I want to see Synergy Custom Fitness because I have a specific idea for our Delta 6-tier rack at the house, but I want to talk it over with Carlos, but I want to do it in person because they'll, you know, so I can say, okay, well, is this going to work the way I think it will? Is with the sliding tray, right? There's them. Kodo Gi Grips has some new products coming out, so I'm excited to go by their booth. It's a smaller company. I want to go by there and see what he's got available. Naomi is extremely excited to go by the Spedience booth because we were so excited last year when we went and she checked out their indoor cycling bike, their Velonex. So she wants to see what new stuff they have. Those are the ones that just pop, you know, top of my head. I am excited also. This isn't like a specific, oh, I want to see the product type thing or any products type thing, but I'm going to go work out at the Bells of Steel booth because I'm going to try to, I need to, it's been a minute since I've set a 1 rep max, a true 1 rep max in the bench, and I'm trying to push that up. So I said I would do that at the Bells of Steel booth. So I'm excited to just go there and find out what my 1 rep max is. I know what the calculator says right now, but I want to see what it actually is. I haven't tested it in a long time, so I'm excited for that.
When are you doing that? We'll have to get that on the schedule to try and get a crowd around you.
Oh yeah, go! Everybody come see me. Come see me either fail or succeed. Either way, it'll be spectacular, right? So Brad, well, okay, that kind of goes back to the scheduling thing. I'm thinking that it'll have to be on Thursday, just because I think I can get it done before the Anchor live stream. If we don't, then it'll have to be Friday after the show, after my show. Actually, you and I can just talk about it offline. We're trying to figure out like when will be the best time, because my show's going to end at 9 and then everything starts at 10. So maybe I can do it sometime. It don't bother me to do it in the morning. That's when I would be competing in a powerlifting meet anyway, be in the morning. So yeah, I'm not strong enough to be in the nighttime show yet in any powerlifting meet. Okay. That's actually pretty good. All right. So Jared wants to know what your answer is to the question you just asked me. What booths are you excited to see?
Oh man. Oh, that's a question. That's a question I hate answering because I don't want to leave anybody out. And there's too many companies. I'm excited for everyone. I would say the things that get me excited the most are seeing the booths evolve from year to year.
Oh yeah.
So like this year, Temple of Gains has like tripled their booth size. Rip Fits doubled. X Masters doubled. So I'm really curious to see what some of these companies do, just to take up another level. And I think last year what ATX did, it put a little pressure on some of the larger companies to bring a good show. So in general, I would say that's what I'm excited for. I also know just from some of the behind the scenes stuff, there are going to be some really cool prototypes there. Definitely some things we've never seen. So I'm not going to say the brands behind those, but that's a really exciting.
It's a tease.
Super exciting for some of that.
What?
I think I saw a sneak peek of Iron Bull's booth at the strength and conditioning sports show. I'm excited to see what Iron Bull does.
Oh, heck yeah.
Reps teasing some cool stuff at their booth. And then there's so many small companies that, have some really unique items. It was really cool to see a lot of the first time small companies sign right back up last year. So, excited to just see a bunch of faces that, we see once a year, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Oh man, I do hate that question though, because I
know you do. I feel like I don't want to make anybody mad. Like, what are you doing to me?
Yeah, like you forgot me. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Mike said Synergy just bought the Delta upright and made a new machine. I'm telling you, that stuff is so. It's funny because we got to do an updated video about the Delta 6 rack. We've got dumbbells, good dumbbells on it. And we're going to just use B-roll from when we toured their booth at HomeGymCon because they've got so many options for people. I think that's quite literally, no hyperbole, is the best dumbbell rack storage system I've ever seen in my life. And I've been working out since 1993. That's the best one I've ever seen in my life. Let's see here. Let's kind of wrap this up with, go ahead, let everybody know kind of like what you do the Garage Gym Radio podcast. That's what y'all call it, right? I mean, I know Garage Gym Radio is the channel, but you've got multiple podcasts on there. But the one specifically that you do with Mike, is that just called Garage Gym Radio? Does it have a name?
Neural News. So
Neural
News is Neural News is basically a video or a live show that correlates with one of the newsletters I've been doing for many years. And it just touches on new products coming to the market. As we're evolving, we'd love to get more guests like you do on this show. And then starting to there's not necessarily an amazing new product that comes each week that you can talk about for an hour, So just starting to talk about some of the cool stuff we see online each week. It's relatively really similar to this show, not necessarily as long though. So each week, sometimes we skip, but most weeks on Tuesdays, I go live with Nice Like Mike at 10:30 Eastern. I also recorded a roundtable last night.
I love your roundtables. I'm just going to say that. I think you are the undisputed king of roundtables because of how you bring the different guests in from different viewpoints and the vibe that you guys have. So I'm sorry I cut you off, but I just want to say that again. I think your roundtables are the best ones I see in the home gym community. So
roundtables,
and I've seen multiples.
Roundtables are the best. They're hard to schedule. Everybody has a different schedule. Most people are working 9 to 5, so you gotta usually schedule it at night. And things pop up, people drop, and yeah, but they are the best. Once you get it going, usually I last night I did an episode. I had 0 questions planned, and we were able to just talk for an hour straight. And there's just a lot of good. There's a lot of good people in this community, and yeah, they like last night they just like fed off each other. There's some good stories. You don't necessarily have to have influencers, you know. We had just we just had like people who love this space, and you know, they're ready to talk about some of their experiences. So I'm looking forward to doing more roundtables.
I think that's what makes it so cool, because you get to see a mix of people who do content, let's say professionally, or they're influencers, along with people who are just like you said, who are just into the space, and it creates a really great conversation mix, because you can just say, hey, here's something I was thinking about, and then boom, and the alchemical mix becomes something that I really think is magic. And I actually like just, that's one of the things it's one of the few things in the home gym community that I can put on just in the background while I'm doing other stuff and listen to it start to finish, no interrupting. I don't get distracted and want to do something else, because I just enjoy it. For lack of a better word, I just enjoy the vibes. And also, you never know where the conversation is going to go. So I think it just makes it even that much more interesting. So you guys can catch up with that. Like you said, you do the Neural News most Tuesdays, and then your roundtables. You just got to subscribe and turn that notification bell on so you know when there's another roundtable that drops. Don't miss out on it. I will say that I noticed that you strategically position them, because you know I work at night. So if he strategically positioned the roundtable, not the roundtables, but the Neural News, so that I have to watch it on replay. That there's no way for me to watch it live, because I'm.
Oh, we don't do those live. We don't. It's also one of those things where there's.
Isn't live.
We don't do the roundtables live.
No, the Neural News.
Oh, okay.
You and Mike.
Yeah.
The roundtables are recorded. I can actually watch those when they come up, because they come on and I'm at work, and I just put them on and I'm doing other things, right? But your Neural News, I can't ever watch it live because I have to go to work that night. So I'm usually asleep when it comes on. And I was like, so but I enjoy watching those as well, because that's actually sometimes how I catch up on current events, because it gives me like a quick little rundown of what's going on and what important topics. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then, I can just react to them or whatever. So I love it, because it's like it creates kind of a little bit of synergy with this show, because as I said, some of the topics I talk about may build off of something that other people have mentioned. Because if you saw it first, you saw it first. So one more time, let everybody know where they can get HomeGymCon tickets. I think the VIP tickets are all sold out. So sorry for our loss, but you can still get regular HomeGymCon tickets. So let everybody know how they can get tickets and keep up with everything that's going on with HomeGymCon.
Yeah, HomeGymCon.com. I think the best way to stay up to date with HomeGymCon is to either just follow on Instagram at HomeGymCon. There's also a newsletter for specifically HomeGymCon on the HomeGymCon website that you can sign up for. As we get closer, I'll ramp up the emails letting people know. And then as far as buying tickets, per usual, you can buy it on the website. And the sooner you buy, the more it helps us plan. But you can also buy in person at the event if it's the last second I decided to come.
So Nick, I see you backstage, and I hate to make you wait a second, but this comment is legendary, and I gotta say, this is what we're gonna enclose with, right? Because Carp said, Jake is a real one because he's got a leaf blower hanging on his power rack. That's how you know he's legit. I love it. I didn't even notice that in the background. Hey, that's right. Hey, don't underestimate leaf blowers when you got a garage gym. Anyway, dude, thank you for jumping on here. And I always have a great time talking to you. I'll give you a call. Well, I'm obviously out of town, but I'll give you a call when we get back in town. We kind of work out something if you really want to do something around my lackluster bench press event. We'll see what happens.
Sounds good, man. Thanks for having me.
All right. Of course, man. Anytime. All right, later. All right, so that was my guy, Jake Jaworski. You guys definitely need to go check out Garage Gym Radio and make sure that you check out his most recent roundtable. Actually, watch every single one of them. They're all a lot of fun. Like I said, they're They're really cool to listen to just in the background. You get to kind of, and if you're a brand, I will say that that will help you put your finger on the pulse of what home gym owners care about, more than anything else, because you just get to see like what topics come up and what people want to talk about. And it's not just, as Jay said, it's not just all influencers. Anyway, it is now 2 minutes past the hour. So shout out to the Mountain Time Zone and all of you who have just joined us, whether you are one of the thousands. We got like almost 8,000 watching on YouTube right now. Shout out to all of you guys. Make sure you're doing the right thing and hitting that like and subscribe button for me. But also, if you are one of those who are following us or watching on LinkedIn right now, appreciate all of you guys joining us and getting your weekend started. As we're going to the next segment of the show, my next guest is Nick Nilsson. Nick is known as the mad scientist of muscle, and you guys are about to find out why. If you've never encountered him before, you're about to find out why he's the mad scientist of muscle. Nick specializes in helping men and women add quality muscle as quickly as possible. And he does it by helping you find the optimal angles for you to train each muscle group, as well as some movements that will help you build real world strength. Helps you train your tendons and your ligaments. Sometimes these are exotic movements you may have never, ever seen before. You may not have heard of them, and but that doesn't mean that it doesn't work, because Nick's method works. He's been able to accomplish some incredible strength feats while staying jacked and healthy at 49 years, I believe, in counting. So, Nick, thanks for your patience, and thanks for getting up way too early with Garage Gym Life as I try to navigate my new setup here, or my temporary setup, to play your song and then bring you live. All right, here we go. Ready, set, boom, boom, boom.
There we go. Awesome. 52 and counting now, actually.
52? Oh, we're the same age. When's your birthday?
October 7th.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I'm a little bit older than like by a couple of months. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
He's got that youthful looking skin, man. I thought you were like just in your 40s. I thought you were a baby at 40. Anyway.
Well, I appreciate
that. Hey, dude, I appreciate you being willing to come on here, because when I told you the premise of the show, I know you were like, it could very easily devolve into what is all this weird stuff that you want to talk about, right? But I do want to talk about some of the stuff that I mentioned, like the different, the optimal exercises for each muscle group. But before we do that, you just went through something that is, quite frankly, horrific in my mind if you are a content creator, and that is you lost your YouTube channel for a little bit. So I'm glad it's back up and running, and everybody needs to go check out Nick Nilsson, Mad Scientist of Muscle, on YouTube. But talk a little bit, or as much as you feel comfortable, like just let us know, what did you have to do to get it back, to get your channel back?
Yeah, that was no fun when that happened. But basically, the YouTube team was really good.
You froze a little bit, Nick.
That better?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay, yeah. So basically, just had to go through and prove with all my channel information and ID and stuff that I was the actual owner of the channel. And then it took a couple of days, but they worked through it and got it back up and running. But if you are like a YouTube creator or anything, very important that you know what your channel ID is. Very important that you kind of keep track of what your most recent videos are, and the IDs of those, because those are things that they asked me to prove that I was the actual owner. Like somebody basically took over the channel and posted some SpaceX spam stuff, which is against their terms of service. Luckily, it was just limited to that. They didn't do anything further, didn't delete any subscribers, didn't mess with any other settings, but they just like automatically posted this stuff to my channel, which then got banned within like probably 20 minutes and got shut down. Yeah, so they didn't actually have time to do a lot of damage, because it was like an automated thing that happened in the middle of the night. But once Google shut everything down, then it just took me a few days to kind of get it all back up.
Prove it wasn't you that did it.
Yeah, okay. Exactly.
So somebody hacked into your channel and was able to get in there, and they posted stuff that violated YouTube's terms of service, and that got your channel locked down. So then you had to like get the channel back by proving, hey, this is actually me. I got hacked, and this is what my channel normally is about. So they were willing to let you have your channel back. That is crazy. I just got a chill go down my spine, like, oh my God. Because the more visibility you have, the more likely it is somebody's going to want to do that to you.
Yeah.
So you've been getting, I would say, a fair amount of coverage on Instagram feeds, like Too Buff for this. I love watching that guy's stuff on Instagram because it's like his reactions are hilarious.
Yeah.
Like when he coughs and stuff, because you see something crazy. And you've been on it like 3 or 4 times. So while that's probably a blessing, that probably also raised your visibility and made you a little bit more of a target. So I hate that happened to you, man. I'm glad you're able to get it back. So let's see something here. You already got a comment. So Kevin said, I'm going to be staying up late because I love training episodes. So Kevin's in Japan. So it's nighttime for him. I want to say it's Friday night, and he's had a long work day and everything else. And he said, I'm gonna stay up late because I love training episodes. Nick, first question: if the aliens come, here we go. If the aliens come and they wipe out all equipment and humanity is back to making them, which equipment should be made first? I feel like a lot of things just happened in that comment. But
yeah.
All right, do whatever you can with that. Go ahead, Nick.
Oh, that one's an easy one for me. That's a power rack.
Okay.
If you set aside like dumbbells, barbells, the actual weight, the actual like equipment, 100% power rack. I do probably 90% of my training with barbells, dumbbells, power rack, and a bench, and I've got a pretty good selection of stuff in my basement already. But that's what I use like 90% of the time. And I find that just using those creatively. It's funny because actually a few months ago, I actually went to a commercial gym for the first time in like literally 5 years. And I went there thinking, oh man, there's so much good equipment, so many good machines here I want to try out. I tried out like 2. I used like one of those lateral raise machines where you're flopping your arms like that. And I'm like, and I just went right back to the free weight section. It's like, I literally had like probably 50 machines for every muscle group. And I'm like, I don't even care about this. Give me a power rack. I went on the chin-up bars. I was using the sled in the corner, and then I was using.
You froze again.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's okay.
Basically, I ended up literally just using a chin-up bar, the sled that they had on the turf track, and then the rack and dumbbells, and they weren't even heavy as the dumbbells I have at my own house. So it's like, okay.
So I want to say this because I think the way we got to go about this is before we start talking about exercises, right? I tell people, okay, Nick knows what he's talking about. So let's begin with, because you're it's not like you hide, yourself or anything like that. Yeah. But I think you kind of you're kind of underrated about how you present yourself. So I believe this is the photo that you share with me. Yeah. So this is what Nick looks like. Okay. I want you to, so when I say it works, okay. Boom, look at that. Rex said he subscribed to you. I don't know if he subscribed as soon as he saw that picture
right on.
What it took. Hey, there you go. Got you a subscriber. What's up, Rick? But yeah, so that's what Nick looks like, all right? And you didn't build that necessarily with the normal exercises because having spoken to you before, a lot of times you found that the exercises that most people tell you to do didn't work for you. And so that's why you started having to be a little bit creative. So let's, I'm going to do this like we said. It's like, let's just go. We can go body part by body part. We can go whatever, or you just go, your favorite movements for whatever. But let's talk about some of your exercises that you use to build yourself up with that kind of physique, right? Yeah. So let's go with so if we're going top down, then to me the first thing you're going to hit is your traps. So we're not going to ask for chest first. All right, let's go. So traps and shoulders. What will be your favorite movement for traps and shoulders? Yeah. And I want to know, when you tell me, why is that your favorite movement? How'd you discover it? Why do you like it so much? That kind of thing. So what's your favorite movement for traps and shoulders?
Traps, I'll start with that. And this one covers upper traps, middle traps, and lower traps all in one shot, because it's basically not a direct trap movement, but I find that it builds traps like nothing else. And that is a lockout squat, where you're literally just doing
Oh,
the top few inches of the range of motion. You got the bar on your back, whether it's with the manta ray,
100%.
whether it's a safety squat bar, that or heavy loaded carries with the yoke, because that support it hits everything from all the way up just by your ears all the way down into your lower back. And once I started doing those, my traps just literally like blew up like balloons. And I remember actually,
So no shrugs, no anything like that. This is better than all those other things.
to me, yeah, shrugs are not bad, but you can't use nearly as much weight as if you can hold, like, you know, I worked up to holding, you know, at one point I maxed out at 1,200 pounds on my back.
Yes.
And, you know, basically I was doing like heavy holds for minutes at a time with, you know, 800-900 pounds. And if you think about it, that's everything in your spine is protected by those traps. So they have to contract the entire time. So that's why when I shoot a video, it's like, I remember actually years ago when I was walking in Port of Miami, didn't have a shirt on, and somebody stopped and asked me, like, what's that muscle going down your back? I've never seen that before. And he was like talking about the traps, the middle traps that were going. He said, there's like 2 loaves of bread on your back.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. And he was like, and I'm like, that's traps. And that's exactly what those are from, because the first time if you ever try lockout squats, if you do them, don't start with anything higher than your 1 rep max squat weight. Just lift them up, hold them there for like a minute or two, re-rack the bar, and then you can do it again. But once you get into really heavy weight, and you can get into really heavy weight, that's when you really start to see what the traps are capable of. The first time I ever did loaded carries outside, I set up a rig with plumbing pipe so I could carry it up and down the street. I used 400 pounds there and back. It was like a half a mile, I think, or a third of a mile. By the time I got back, my traps were so pumped. They were literally like, they started right at my chin, and they're just like, poof. I was like, oh, this is good. This is good stuff.
What about I think I was the one that talked you into doing the Inman Mile, which is, I forgot what the percentages are, but you basically walk a mile with a loaded barbell on your back. And so for me, it would have been like, I think 315 or something like that. You had to walk a mile, and I'm nowhere able to do that. But you were able to, I don't know if you were actually able to ever complete it, but you got pretty dang close. Did you use like a Mars bar or something like that to do it?
Yep, used a Mars bar, and 1.5 times.
What was the weight you were using? Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been at that point to get that would have been about 260, 265 at the time.
Okay.
I managed to get 235 for 2/3 of a mile. That was last fall, and at that point I realized, you know, I could potentially train to get it at some point, but the amount of training I would have to do to get to that point is something that I wasn't really prepared to do. So it's like, okay, I put in for like a year. I trained towards that. At once a week, I was doing like lockouts. I was doing holds. I was doing carries inside the rack with like 600-700 pounds for minutes at a time. And it's like, even with all that training, 235 for 2/3 of a mile was just like, I can't do another third, because my street is a third of a mile there and back, basically. So 3 times up and down is exactly a mile. And by the time I was getting to that 2/3 of a mile, I was like, I'm going to fall, and I'm going to hurt myself if I try and keep going here.
Oh,
and it wasn't a question
nobody has ever done it.
Nobody's ever done it. I think the guys maybe in Indonesia who carry sulfur up and down the mountains might be able to do it, because those guys are, you know, they weigh like 120 pounds. So they're they're probably doing it already, like every day for their job, which is incredible. If you've ever seen video of these guys doing it, they carry chunks of sulfur on these yoke things with just like a stick and some padding and buckets, and they carry them up a mile up the side of a volcano. So it's like, and their shoulders are like bigger than a gymnast's, you know, and these guys are, because that's literally what they do twice a day, every day. They're walking a mile and carrying, you know, wheelbarrowing it the rest of the way down the mountain, coming back up and doing it again.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And that's so crazy, because I remember when I joined the Marine Corps, this guy was like, that's back when I knew everything, because I was just started out as a personal trainer. So I knew everything. And and I remember this guy telling me he had just come back from boot camp, and he said his traps had grown because of all the rucking. Right. And he said, yeah, you humping with a pack. He said, yeah, it made my traps grow. And in my head, I'm like, okay, whatever. I didn't believe it. But then when I did it, and I expressed, oh, yeah, I am getting up. And sorry, you know, apologies to that guy, because now my traps are like blowing up, and you can feel it. I've never gone as heavy as you have, but that was crazy. So let's see here. We got let's see, Fit Shano. He said, Nick, He said, my number one reminder, I don't need to buy most things, and there's often more joy in just figuring stuff out. I agree, man, because like, so the power rack, you said power rack is your most important thing. You've had the same body solid power rack for like 20 years.
Yep.
Without ever any need to upgrade it, buy anything new. Like, just thinking about what power racks looked like 20 years ago versus what they look like now. And again, you were able to build the physique you have in your 50s with just a basic power rack from 20 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So let's go down to shoulders. So I guess we're at delts now.
Yep.
What's your favorite exercise for delts? Is it this treadmill weird thing that you came up with?
That one is awesome. And there's, yeah, with the sideways bands and stuff, that one's awesome. The treadmill stuff.
I saw it. I was like, here he goes again. That right there.
Yeah.
So I see the veins. So I was like, okay, it's doing something. But
that one really works.
Or was it? Okay.
Yeah. That one really works. But I'll tell you, the best thing I've ever done for shoulders was actually learning how to do handstand push-ups effectively. And for my money, there was literally nothing better for developing my shoulders, because for years, like literally, I couldn't, mass up my shoulders to save my life. I got to some decent weights on shoulder presses, dumbbell shoulder presses and stuff. And, I got to the point where I could do hang clean and press with 225. And, but that still didn't like build the shoulders that I wanted. So what I ended up doing at one point was doing almost like a grease the groove kind of thing. I call it daily specialization, where I would do one set to failure morning and one
set in the afternoon, I guess. And you froze up again.
Okay, I think we're back here, and I don't know why it's doing that.
Yeah, you're back.
Okay, but yeah, basically I would do one set to failure in the morning and one set to failure at night, right before bed. So first thing in the morning, last thing at night, every day without fail. And the first time I did this, I couldn't even get full reps. So I basically kicked up into a handstand and did one negative rep, tried to do a rep, and I couldn't get it. Come to the evening, I actually managed to do one full rep. Now, I kept on doing this every day for 2 months. And at the end of that, I was able to do 40 full reps of handstand push-ups.
Whoa. Wow. Now, are these on the ground, or were you using like the bars?
The parallel. It was just my hands flat on the ground.
Okay.
So it was basically it wasn't the full range of motion either. It was just like whatever, on the top of my head, pressing up. So just doing that every day. Not going like to crazy failure where I was like struggling and shaking or anything like that, but just to the point where I couldn't push up and do another handstand essentially. And just doing that every day within, like I said, 2 months, I was doing a set of 40 reps. I had tested it again about a year later, and I got a set of 50 reps. But my dumbbell shoulder press, I managed to go from all the way up to 105-pound dumbbells for full range of motion, just pressing overhead. And, nothing ever built strength for me for my shoulders and mass in my shoulders like that. And I was able to start doing some pretty crazy stuff with handstand push-ups after that, including like the parallel stuff. I also got to the point where I took it too far, and I started doing handstand push-ups on top of dumbbells. But not only top of dumbbells, I would do the rolling dumbbells around dumbbells, and I would roll them out to the sides as I was coming down and roll them back in as I was coming up. And then it got worse from there. You can imagine it getting worse from there. I actually got my hands
in a handstand.
This is in a handstand, not a free handstand, but feet up on the wall.
Yeah, but I'm saying like you're rolling the dumbbells out in a handstand position.
I was literally in a handstand, rolling them down, touching my head, rolling them back up as I was coming up into the handstand. So yeah, and I was getting like 4 or 5 reps on that. And so to make it even worse, what I did was I had the gym I was in had these pair of dumbbells that were had loose plates on them. They were like the homemade things with the bolts on them and everything. Yeah. So I would set my hands on the plates that were all wobbly, and I would roll those out, and I'd roll them back in as I'm. And on my second rep of that, I realized, this is not worth it. The risk is not worth it. If these plates go, I'm going down on my head, and I'm going to break my neck.
Yeah. R.I.P. to your lips and teeth. Good Lord.
Yeah,
so my brother said he's been preaching handstand push-ups for years. He said he credits that with building his overhead press the most, just doing handstand push-ups. So
100%, 100% agree. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, and you
there's
can also, if you can't do a full handstand push-up, you can also do the pike handstand push-ups, which are great for that too.
yeah.
You can build you up to that.
What do you think about the band assisted handstand push-ups?
Those can be good too.
What?
Yeah, I like those. I haven't really done too many
Okay.
of them since I was able to do the handstand ones pretty early on.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see here. So right here. So Kevin said, "This is what I'm talking about. Great answer." He said, "Funny that I asked a bunch of creators to give me their favorite exercises, and 90% is free weight basics." So Kevin has a video. I think he said it's coming out tomorrow. Where it's he basically asked me and a bunch of other content creators to do a video demonstrating our favorite movements, and then I believe he went and did it. So like we built his workout, right?
Oh, yeah.
So when he asked us, he didn't tell me what he wanted it for. He just said, "Hey man, tell me what your favorite movement for," I think it was chest was. And so I sent it to him, and that's going to be part of the video compilation that you guys will be able to see. But anyway, but yeah, I had no idea because I haven't seen the video. He said that pretty much me and 90 and everybody else, pretty much we're talking about free weight basics instead of like all the bells and whistles and all the machines that people think that they have to add to their gyms.
Yeah.
So I think, in fact, I think we are at. Well, do you train chest and back together, or do you do them separately?
I kind of have a weird training split right now. I'm good with
Okay.
chest and back train together. I'm good with chest and back train separately. I'm good with basically whatever gets you the most bang for your own buck and what you prefer to do as a trainer. So it's like,
Right.
I don't think there's any magic formula for that. As long as it's something like you particularly enjoy and it works for you, go for it.
Right.
If it's one body part per day, that's fine. If it's,
Yeah.
Everything every day, which I've done, I've gone both extremes. For me right now, I do tend to train chest and back together because my split is like a 3-part split where I train 3 times a week. My Monday workout is upper body push, upper body pull, and a squat or hinge. And then same on Wednesday, same on Friday. But Wednesday I throw in some loaded carry stuff. And that's pretty much what I do. That's what allows me to put together all the crazy stuff that I do and do all of it essentially. Like I'm to the point now where I've built the mass that I'm fine with where I'm at as far as building mass. So I don't need to stick with the same exercises over and over again to get that progressive overload, to get that training effect essentially. So I can bounce around between all the stuff that I want to do basically, which is perfect for me. So like an upper body push would be like a bench press or a shoulder press. Upper body pull would be like a chin up, row, deadlift, that kind of thing. And a squat hinge, you're looking at like a deadlift potentially, or stiff like a deadlift, RDL, any squat variation, lunge variation, that kind of thing. So I do one of those, in each workout essentially. So I'm covering pretty much everything generally almost every day. So
yeah, like what Dan John called the human movements, the fundamental human movements.
Yeah.
Like push, pull, hinge, parry. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so let's go with chest then. So what's your favorite? You may have mentioned it already because you said bench, but I'm really hoping it's this weird thing that you came up with. I feel like I'm going to say a lot more of this weird thing you came up with throughout the course of this conversation.
It's going to be a standard, yeah.
It's like this weird thing you came up with. And when I cannot wait. This is the one that made me. I think it was the one I said, "Okay, Nick, you got to come on the show because this is it." All right, so tell everybody what this is you're doing.
Oh, that one, yeah, that one is.
Oh, that one, yeah. I'm like,
yeah, I came up with this one just a few weeks ago, and so I haven't had time to really like make it my. It's not been like the one that really built my chest from scratch, but this one is actually as crazy as it looks. It's like ridiculously good. Because you're anchoring your hands and you're pushing up and back, and the arc of that movement is so targeted to the lower chest. It actually worked almost the entirety of my chest, to be honest. It's kind of like a dip, but didn't hurt my shoulders because it limits the range of motion. You're just pushing up and back, like you create your own machine using a bench, a bar, and a rack, and like a hoist machine. And I'm sitting on 3 plates, so you can load it with however much weight you want to put.
I was gonna say there's still progressive resistance because you got the plates on the bench.
Yeah. Yeah, so you basically can turn your rack into a machine like that. So
that is it. I hope y'all are writing this one down. If anybody needs, so what I'm gonna do is I will link to Nick's Instagram, and I'll post like the specific ones that I pop up in the description for the video so you guys can see it. Because I know some of y'all are gonna want to go back and look at it and say, okay, what did he just do? But since that's obviously a newer movement, what is the movement for chest that you would say is your favorite, and how did you choose it, and why do you like it?
If I had just one movement for chest to choose, it would be a hybrid dumbbell bench press with a cable fly combo. So basically, it's doing a dumbbell bench press, and you're doing either with a wrist cuff attached to cables beside you, or you can use a band looped around and attached to the side of you.
So you do that?
Yeah, I did it as a triple. I did it as a triple hybrid once, and it showed that with chains also attached on there. I don't expect, I don't expect chains to be added to that. I was doing like 100-something pound dumbbells. I had like 30 pounds on the cables, and I had like 40 pounds of chains, and I think I got 4 reps with that. But basically, you're going to get 95% of the effect on that without the chains. So you can do this one in pretty much any.
Okay. I'm trying to look on your YouTube channel to see if I can find that movement we're talking about.
Yeah, that's probably back in September, so it's probably about 6 months ago that I would have posted that one. So
yeah, it's gonna be a minute back. Let me ask you, so you don't have any playlists on your channel right now? Have you thought about doing something that's a that's something like that, where it's gonna be a best movements for chest or whatever, best movements for triceps, biceps, whatever, something like that?
yeah, I actually did have playlists on my channel before it got blown up last
Oh,
week.
I got
And
you.
then when I went to go restart them again, it I don't know, it lost all the playlists or something. So I still have to go through and rebuild those. Basically, I forgot to mention that was one of the things that they did was to change up all my playlists. So. But yeah, but this one basically, if you can visualize it, you're doing a dumbbell bench press, just like you would normally do a dumbbell bench press, but you've got the cables attached to your hands directly out to the sides. So it kind of completes the range of motion and the strength curves of both exercises. So with dumbbells, you're getting mostly chest, to the bottom half. As you come up, you're getting more triceps and you're kind of losing that tension a little bit. When you have the cables, you're getting not much at the bottom. Once you hit that halfway point, then you're getting that inwards tension. So you're literally getting full tension from bottom to top. Even if you go full lockout, you straighten everything, that's when you're actually getting the most tension from the cables. So you combine those two, you're getting no break in tension, you're getting full mechanical tension from both exercises. And start light if you do try this one, because the tension is ridiculous and there's no break in it whatsoever. If you're used to getting that break at the top on a dumbbell bench press, you're not going to get that on this one. You're going to get work the entire time. And so yeah, when I did this one with the chains too, then I was adding also the accommodating resistance. So less weight at the bottom, more weight as you press up to the top. So
yeah, I just saw it, but then this weirdo dang situation I have with the without, I don't have a mouse. I just saw it's not the exact thing you're talking about, but it's that same movement but with a barbell, but you've got the band set up. I just want people to be able to see the band press this thing. And then I also want to show, you've got one that's a like you said, it was like a good if you have a sticking point for the bench press.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's one when I've got the bands attached and then looped around the bar plate.
Yeah. So yeah. So let me go ahead and I'll share the screen and show so this right here. If I can share. And I just switched it. Let's go back. I'll screw it up again. So anyway, so this is Nick's channel. You guys can see the channel right here, scrolling down, and I'm going to find it because I really think that it's beneficial for people to actually see the movement that you're talking about.
Definitely.
Rather than me, rather than us try to just describe it, because it's not the same thing. Like some people may think it's like something with a slingshot, and you have done stuff with a slingshot on bench, but this is a different sort of thing. So here it is right here.
There you
go. All right, okay. So that's how you set it up. Is this what you're talking about?
It's similar, but using dumbbells basically and using cables. And if you want, so basically it's a very similar concept where you're, but because you're using a barbell on this, it's a little bit different, but this works fantastically as well. Because with this one, you're actually getting constant inwards tension. even though
Yeah.
you're not bringing the hands in. And you'd think because your hands are gripping onto the bar there that you wouldn't get that tension, but because there's enough action at the elbow, kind of bringing out to the sides, you actually do get fantastic tension on there. So,
Okay.
that is another really good one, actually.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh, that's legit.
Yeah.
And then you've got something here. You've got like the crazy one where you did like the clamp. This one was another one where it's like the barbell clamp chin ups.
Oh, yes.
So that's the one that got you a lot of attention on Two Buff for this. So as we go to your favorite movement for back, let's just show my favorite movement to watch. See, it did it again. Hang on, let's not do that. Stop sharing. Let's go back to here because it keeps on doing the thing. I'm gonna go back up here. So you did a thing where you talk about how you actually decided to do this thing. It's like a hang, clean, and press and clamp pull-ups. All right.
Yeah.
What were you thinking about? I mean, let's just stop there. What were you thinking about? Because this is what I'm looking at. Like, yeah, man.
Yeah, I love that one. That one is fantastic for grip strength and hand strength and thumb strength because you're literally doing the hang clean and press and then gripping around the top of the bar with your 4 fingers and then doing a pull-up. So I've actually been doing variations of this one for quite a while. Like I actually
You did it on a kettlebell too, I think.
it was about 6 months ago, I actually did a version of this where I just did the bar and I just did reps with just the bar, but then I didn't do a hang, clean, and press on every rep. So, a few weeks, I guess it'd be about a month ago at this point, I decided, you know what, I think if I actually throw in the hang, clean, and press in there too, that's going to even give me more trap work. And then, so I did that. And then it is kind of a brain bender the first time you see it. And when you grip around and over, you're like, what's happening here?
Yeah, it's like I was like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
That's the one that got on Two Buff for this. He was like,
Yeah.
what? He said, what? What?
Yeah.
Like, you blew up his Instagram. I was like, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, that one generated a ton of traffic. I'll tell you on that one, man. So.
I'll bet it did. My brother said this is 3 of his favorite fruits mixed together.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. Hey, Amish Muscle, what's up, man? I appreciate you stopping by. He said, long time, dude. Hey, we're still here, man. Glad you stopped by. Come and see us more often, man. So now we've shown like, the fun thing, but that is functional. What's the fun and functional?
Yeah.
I just made it up. But what would you say is your favorite movement for developing back?
For me, it would be the chin up.
Okay.
Just
a basic chin up. Okay.
Just a chin up, a weighted chin up. Overall back, to be honest, I go back to the lockout squats and the thing because you're using such a heavy weight, it just involves everything in your back, like your mid traps, rhomboids, everything. When you got that load on you, literally everything fires up. So that's, I'd say honorable mention for that one. But in terms of a pulling exercise, pull downs are good, but I personally prefer chin ups and weighted chin ups. I've gotten to the point.
Weighted chin ups. Funny you should say that.
There you go.
Funny you should say that.
Yep, double weight. Those are double weighted chin ups because I got the bar on my toes and I've got a plate hanging from my waist too.
Yeah.
So that was fantastic because it allows you to actually do a little drop set where I'm like holding the weight up until I can't do another rep, and then I'm just like literally just drop the bar off my feet, and it just kind of launches you right up in the air, like as you'll see on the next rep here. Yeah, you just struggle for a second or two, and then you just drop the weight and boom, up to the top. Yeah. They have variations.
I was gonna say, it looks like weight releasers, like the when you do weight releasers on like the bench press. That's what immediately came to mind when I saw it. Yep,
exactly, and it's a very, very similar concept. I haven't with my rack. You can't pull the pins in it. I don't really have a way to do a true weight releaser on that, other than I had to start at the bottom, come up, and then come back down. Although I could use a bench for that, I think probably I have to try that. But
no, here we go. Now he's thinking again. Hi.
Yeah, no, it's like you literally got me going again.
So Home Gym Harry has a good question. This is something that people have been asking since I got into lifting. Actually, really, since I started originally kind of like personal training like in 1996, 97. He said chin-ups, pull-ups. So I thought pull-ups are better for your back since chin-ups work the biceps.
Yeah, that's a really fair point. And for me, the reason I go with chin-ups is because if I do too many pull-ups, then my shoulders get tweaked. It's that pronated position like that gets me locked in. If I do too many sets of that, I can do a decent amount of sets on that, but if I do too much weight, too much volume, then I find it gets into my shoulders. So I don't have that issue with chin-ups. So I can do a lot of chin-ups. So that's what I tend to gravitate to, whether it's the regular supinated grip or I do a pronated grip. And I can, like I said, I can obviously still do regular pull-ups, but if I do too much weight or volume, then it gets into my shoulders too much. So that's the reason for my preference. But in general, yeah, the pull-ups are excellent for your back as well. So a combination, I mean, you could basically say a vertical pull would be my favorite for that. And
would you say it's better to do it then because of the shoulder issues to do it with gymnastics rings so your hands can move freely?
Yes and no. Yes, because they can move freely, but no, because the grip is concave and it'll limit how long you can stay on the bar for. For me personally, I do have gymnastic rings and I like them for pull-ups and chin-ups because of that freely movement thing. But I find what I'll do is I'll take the single handles, I'll just loop them around with a little strap, and then I've got the same kind of concept where they move freely, but I have a flat grip. So for me, it's if my grip gets compromised because I'm doing a lot of reps or weight with that kind of concave bar grip, then it's kind of defeating the purpose of, getting as many reps or using as much weight as possible. And not that the rings are bad at all, they're not, but
Pause for a second.
yeah.
Okay. But I heard you say so you said it's not that gymnastics rings are bad, but they're not like the number one because of the grip issue.
Yeah, it's a personal preference for me where if I'm like lifting 100 pounds extra on there, if that kind of munches my grip and it limits the amount of reps I can do or how much weight I can do, then I don't see that as a benefit. But if but like I say, yeah, they're not bad and they can be very effective for moving more freely and rotating more freely as you're doing the exercise for sure. So.
Let's go back to shoulders real quick because you mentioned the handstand push-ups, and I want to show people handstand push-up. You talk about the pike variation.
Yeah.
So there's you showed a cool way to level up the difficulty of a pike push-up before you go from pike to putting your feet up, and that's actually not something I had thought about until I saw this video. So let me pull this one up here so people can see this, because I said, oh, that's actually really cool. So you got more range of motion. Yeah. So describe that setup there a little bit.
Yeah. So that's what I call an A-frame pike push-up, where basically I've got a couple of 50-pound hex dumbbells and I've got a couple of just bumper plates on there, angled up so that it creates an elevated situation where you can put your head down further as you're doing the exercise. So you get a really full range of motion with these. And as well, that angle, I find as you're doing the exercise, you have to push inwards. So that even brings the delts in even more effectively.
Nice.
And the difference between that and parallettes is the flat hand position and the angle. So I find the parallettes are good, but when I grip onto something, my triceps get more activated. So with the flat hand position, I find I'm getting, it might be a difference of 5 to 10%, but I find that gets into the delts for me more substantially, as well as that angled hand position. You can do this with push-ups as well, with your feet on the floor. It works great for push-ups, just having that A-frame elevation going. That's a fantastic version. I did a version, I don't know if you saw that one, that was just insane for doing push-ups, but I also had my hands on the handles of round dumbbells so that as I'm doing the push-up, I'm also rolling these round dumbbells up the A-frame.
That's insane.
I just gotta laugh at some of the stuff that I think of. It's like, okay, I'm like falling asleep at night. I'm like, oh shoot, I can do that. I gotta write that. It's like, this is horrible. I gotta try this tomorrow. And I'll literally wake up and go to my phone. I'm like, okay, write that down. Try that tomorrow.
You can have a notepad or you use a notes thing on your phone. Oh, I got an idea. And you just because that has got to look insane. The little stuff you just jot down to yourself.
Yeah.
I was making breakfast and like
That's
that.
literally what I do. I've got a notepad app, and I've got like probably about 50 things to try on there right now. When I first started training, before phones, it was notepads, and I literally have a stack of notebooks like that.
Yeah.
100-page notebooks. I got like 13 to 15 of these things, handwritten notes, 100 and something pages of all these things I'm thinking about as I'm training and stuff. And I got to go through those again one day and probably like scan them all and just publish the raw notes. It's like, that's a gold mine. It's a gold mine of stuff in there. I literally look back on this stuff and I'm like, I can't believe I thought of that 30 years ago. But like literally, I started taking notes back when I was probably in my second year of training, and I did that for probably a good solid 10 years. So it's got a ton of notes in there that some really cool stuff. Yeah.
So Home Gym Harry said these kinds of crazy exercises are why people hate calisthenics moves. I'm sure it feels nice, but no way I can get into that position.
I get that. Yeah.
So I can imagine that, but again, like you said, you didn't start out with that. You started out with like a simple progression, like, okay, I'm just on the floor and I'm doing that, and then you're like, okay, well now this is easier, so move up. So I want to make sure we don't miss that we don't miss the body parts. So let's do triceps, biceps, and forearms as a group.
Sure.
What are your favorite movements for arms?
Arms, I kind of toss between two, and that's a body weight tricep extension and a decline close grip bench press. The body weight extension, I think, is one of the best things I've ever done for triceps. It's giving it looks like my long head of my triceps is like a tumor, and it's because of that exercise. So basically, you have a bar set pretty low, and then you're literally just ducking your head under the bar with your feet set back, and then doing a tricep extension, but with your body weight. And it's
so I'm literally trying to find that now. Let's see. Body weight tricep extension. So I can find this.
Yeah, you can visualize it. Like, say if you're using a Smith machine, you sit with the bar like 2 feet off the ground. You set your hands on the bar like you're about to do a push-up on it, fairly close grip. Yeah, you set your feet back, and then you just do an extension, just bending at the elbows, and then.
Oh yeah, I've done those, but I've only done those with a Smith machine. But you said that you have a way to do it with just a regular bar. Oh yeah, that's actually yeah.
You do it on the rack, and you just brace it up against the uprights of the rack, and it creates a bar.
Okay.
So basically,
I gotta find that. Okay.
Yeah, you can do it on a bench. You can do it on a countertop. You can do it. There's so many different surfaces you can do it on. I got to the point years ago where I was really focusing on those, and I was doing them one arm with my feet up on a bench like that. I was doing them in a handstand position. So I was doing vertical body weight tricep extensions, which,
oh my God.
Yeah. So the gym I was at, their Smith machine was like right in front of a wall for some reason.
Okay.
So I literally could set the bar down as low as it could go, and I would climb my feet up the wall. So I was literally like probably about 80 degrees, and I was coming down into a full behind the head extension and all the way back up. And that one, I built some really good strength, and that one fantastically effective for triceps. And because it's so versatile, you can adjust the resistance pretty much by where you set your feet and where you set the bar. It's really really versatile. When I was training complete beginners, I would have them doing that exercise with the bar set like 4 feet up and their feet close in, and you can literally have like barely any resistance. So it's such a good way to use just basically a bar and a rack or a Smith machine to do stuff like that.
So for biceps, this is kind of like a cool movement that I saw on your Instagram. You guys need to all make sure you guys are following Nick Nilsson 1 on Instagram, because you see a lot of this cool stuff on there. But this is it's a weighted forearm braced chin up. So Harry's earlier, that's actually what made me stop, because Harry was talking about chin ups for biceps.
Yeah.
What's the magic of having your forearm braced?
I've found it changes the biceps from being a secondary mover to a primary mover because of how you're locking the joint. So when you're doing a chin up, it does work the biceps effectively, don't get me wrong. But when you brace the elbow like that, brace the forearm like that, you're basically throwing the tension onto the next muscle, which is the bicep. Whereas when you're doing the regular full chin up, the bicep is a secondary mover, strong secondary
Okay.
mover, but the actual primary action happens at the shoulder. So with this, it really changes the biomechanics of the exercise. And I'm doing it obviously with an extra dumbbell between my knees there too. So, but don't start with that, obviously. But you can set up the rack. So you're basically, it's like the rungs of a ladder. So the hand, set them one up high and then set the other about, 10 to 12 inches lower so that you're bracing that forearm. And it doesn't hurt the forearms because there's not a lot of nerve endings in there. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah.
But, you can
Let's
put a
not
pad.
use you as an example.
Yeah, I'm a bad example for most of this stuff, but you can use a barbell pad if you want or a towel. But I don't find that the bar hurts the forearms at all. And yeah, basically you're focusing on just action flexion at the elbow joint. So, and you can. The reason I use the dumbbell here is because this was in my garage gym and not in my basement gym, so I didn't have the extra weight belt to hang from my waist. So I'm like, you know what, let's try it with a dumbbell. So I just
Let's try this.
Yeah. And that worked really
Nice.
well too. So yeah.
Abs and lower back. And I want to say before you answer that one, I don't know who said it. I saw it like in, just so you see like what I scroll through, but I saw somebody say they're like, their theory was that if you did nothing but train your core, so basically your abdominals, your obliques, and your lower back, and you didn't train anything else, all of your lifts would still go up. Well, so do you agree with that?
No, I don't actually.
Okay. There's a specificity of training or what?
Specificity of training, and there's a lot more to it than just core strength. It'll definitely help if you focus more on that area, but you also either just do maintenance dose of the other stuff. But there will come a time where, that will kind of diverge and you'll drop away. Obviously it's all speculation, but in my I was gonna say if I don't do a specific exercise for a while, my strength in that exercise does drop off, even if I'm doing all this other stuff. So it's basically you will maintain that strength for a while. It may even go up for a while, especially if that was a weak link for you in that exercise, like deadlifts in particular, squats in particular, that core bracing. If you suddenly get a much stronger core while you're still kind of maintaining that strength from having done all that stuff before, your squat and deadlift will go up, absolutely, until it gets to the point where you're not getting that training effect, and then it will kind of taper back down because there's so many other joints involved in those movements that that weak will cease to be your weak link anymore, and you will develop a new weak link essentially.
Right. All right. So let's talk about. So before we talk about abs, I did find that push-up video that you said you wanted me to that you mentioned with the rolling.
Yeah.
The rolling version of the push-ups. Yeah. So let's show this right here. Yeah, that looks insane. That looks absolutely insane.
That's
you still got the plates set up. Remember, people knows that he's still at an incline on the plates. All right, that's really nuts.
So I'm rolling. Yeah, those are 65-pound dumbbells. I'm rolling up the plates like that.
That's absolutely crazy.
Yep.
Then you've got. I mean, there's you literally. I'm just saying, if people just go to your Instagram, and also to your YouTube channel, and just check out all the different things you have on there, they're gonna find a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
But as far as exercises for abs and back, what would you say? What are your so look at this one right here. See, they got me distracted now. I'm looking at rear delt body weight pushes.
Yeah,
that's crazy looking.
It is, and it's
That's
actually crazy effective too. Because I just got a couple of towels there to pad the thing, and you just wedge them into the rail and the upright, and then you're just sitting back. You're letting you get a good stretch, and then you're just using the rear delts to push yourself forward. Rear delts, rhomboids, teres, that kind of thing.
That looks to me like it'd be like a fantastic movement to develop your antagonist for the bench press, because we end up so much internally rotated like that. If you bench a whole lot, you get all that kyphosis.
Yep.
That looks to me like it'd be a fantastic way to fight against that.
It really is, because it opens up everything in the chest, and then as you're pushing back, you're really focused on getting the shoulders back and getting everything back as you're doing the exercise. And it's such a simple setup. It's literally a rack and a couple of towels. So it's like,
yeah, that's one of the things that I really like about your stuff is like the stuff that you show is so most of the time it's low tech and very low cost.
Yeah.
All right. So this is bench support dragon flags. All right. So
this is a killer one for abs.
That's your 6-pack. So go ahead, talk us through it. What's going on here?
So basically, I'm doing a lockout static hold with 315 on the bar, just the top couple inches, so I can maximize the weight. Holding that at the top, up against the rails of the rack, the uprights of the rack. So
it's inside the rack, and so it can't fall in your face. So
yeah, that's 100% critical, because I'm also using the uprights of the rack to brace up against. So it's kind of stabilizing in one plane of movement. And then just I've got the end of the bench there, and then I'm just coming up into a dragon flag, and this kind of basically trying to hold that. Not a perfect dragon flag. I need to get my hips straightened out a little more, but it definitely is effective. And that one's a killer one.
This gives you a lot of different things going on, but it's still effective at all of the things. You know, a lot of times when you do an exercise, it works multiple things. It doesn't work any of them optimally. It just kind of hits everything. What I like about this is you're getting some great connective tissue work for your chest, shoulders, and triceps and your nervous system. But then you're also, it's actually a good ab workout as well. So I really like this one a little bit more than.
And this one gets you in your abs top down and bottom up at the same time, meaning that it's almost like you're holding the top of a pullover and you're holding that weight. You have to really engage those 6-pack abs, even just to hold that weight. So then when you add in the lower body, basically everything from your shoulders down, you're getting the anchoring by, anchoring the load, and then you're getting the resistance at the rest of your body. And it all kind of meets in the middle, and it just torches your abs. It's a crazy one.
So everybody make sure, if you want to see all this stuff, and also interact with Nick, you can follow him on Instagram at Nick Nilsson 1 on Instagram. If you are a martial artist, combat sport, like a striking sport, Nick's got some, at least a couple of posts where he actually asked for your feedback. So I commented on one, more from like a boxing standpoint. And it was really cool that a Muay Thai practitioner commented on it. It's like in fact, I'll pull it up to show it where you're holding you're walking and holding the.
Walking with the bands like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And you were like, is this and you said you wanted to get our feet. So normally that's what it was, high guard band walking on the treadmill. Yeah. And so I commented on it from the standpoint, like I said, of boxing. Although I did, train Muay Thai and I competed in kickboxing. But I was looking at it from the standpoint of it's opening up. So you wouldn't, as a general rule, as a boxer, you wouldn't want to train to be up here because you're leaving all this exposed, right? For somebody who does Muay Thai, that's not an issue because they're here, and the plan is that if you get close enough to hit to the ribs, you're going to catch a knee to the face, an elbow to the face, or they're going to spin off of you and elbow you to a rear elbow, right? And so it doesn't matter for them because that's why you see them out like that. But I would say, like, so for boxing, if it was going to be for boxing, I would modify it down to here. Because the thing that is different is, like, a boxer, boxers have little hand weights. That's why you shadow box with the little hand weights, like 1 pound weights. And trust me, 1 pound weights are enough. Even 16-ounce gloves. We would do a thing in training where we would just have to hold our hands in position and hold that position and just move around and keep your hands up. And we're talking about shoulder stuff. Like, my delts actually got some of the best separation when I started doing, it roughly worked out to like 1,000 jabs a week. To the point where actually I'm right-handed, but now I'm more comfortable doing some things with my left hand because we did so many jabs that it kind of like what they call it, educating your jab and educating my left hand. So, and then you're moving around, you just get exhausted, man. So I think that there's some definite benefit to it. But like I said, you guys go ahead and make sure you follow Nick Nilsson on Instagram at Nilsson1. so you guys can see all these movements, and so you can give him feedback and have, because Nick enjoys the dialogue.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Because as you see, like, it makes him think of stuff when you ask him a question. So I think that's really
It
cool.
sets my brain going. Yeah, it's like, and obviously with what I do, I'm an audience of one, so I've got my subject n equals 1. That's just me. So I want to put this out, and I want to get the feedback on people. How I love to see videos of people using my stuff, because then I can see how they're setting up and how they interpret what I'm doing.
Right.
I'm like, okay, now I can see, okay, maybe this is a better setup, or I can give them feedback on, okay, if you change this, like somebody had done, it was a few months ago, somebody asked me about an ab exercise using the leg curl machine. And it was a good one, and it was one that I had actually done before, so I could see what he was doing. And I said, you know what, if all you do is just move your body down the bench 3 inches, it's going to be 10 times better. And he tried it, and he was like, oh my goodness. And it was just totally changed the exercise. It's like, but that's why I love giving feedback on stuff like this, because I not only love helping people with this stuff, but it gives me even more ideas. And like, people always ask me, are you ever going to run out of ideas? And I'm like, no, I would literally never.
Unlikely.
Yeah, literally never. And people asked me that like 30 years ago when, just started doing stuff like this. And I've come up with literally thousands of variations. And, most of what I do is variations of normal stuff. Like, it's add-ons to normal stuff. Like, if you look at some of the, like the pike handstand push-up, it's a pike handstand push-up. People have been doing those probably for thousands of years. This is just a change in the setup, and a small change that makes it just a little bit better or a little bit different, or hits in a little bit different way. Some of the stuff like the, that bench press machine I made out of the rack, that's literal bench press. It's almost the same as a decline, but the setup makes it a little bit better because of the angle, because of how it gives you the arc backwards. It's literally just a press or a push-up. So it's just taking these basic movement patterns and finding ways to make them better. So it's when you really dissect these setups, it's really, it may look weird, but the body recognizes them. It's not like different for the sake of being different or for the likes or the views. I don't even take that into account when I'm doing this stuff. It's like, I just think this works better. I think this is more effective for this specific purpose. Even if it looks just insane, that's fine. I'll still post it anyways.
It's like, well, I want to make sure that people understand too, because, and this actually circles back around to the beginning of our conversation. You lost your YouTube channel for a little bit. So that would be, if you didn't have multiple legs of the tripod, that could really hurt your income. So you've also got the books that you sell. They're available on Amazon, I believe, as well as through your website, correct?
Yep, I've got a few on Amazon, and I've got some printed ones on a site called lulu.com, LULU.com. If you search my name, I've got like most of my books available on there, and I've had a few published, and those are on Amazon as well. So.
So my brother said the exercises may look weird, but you don't. The proof is in the pudding, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
People can't argue with the fact that it works. That's why I wanted to start with the picture of you before we went into, this stuff or whatever. And I also like, I don't know if you actually train people, but you've got some social proof from more than just you. Because a lot of times I think people who maybe are genetically gifted will say, oh, well, this is what I do, so everybody should do it. Well, it kind of works for you because you've got like these, you're like genetically closer to being the 1%, right? In your case, that's not the case. Are you still training people? Let's start with that.
No, I haven't done that in quite a while, actually.
Okay. So you no longer train, but you do have the experience of trying things with other people. So you've got like a bigger research study population than just yourself.
Oh yeah. I've when I first started doing online stuff, I did do online personal training for a while, and I've trained with a lot of then some group training as well with people and running people through stuff and stuff like that.
Okay. So let me show people here. So this is Nick when he started at age 17. So people can just kind of get an idea of what he looked at, and he also said, and you said you are lifetime natural.
Yep.
That includes no TRT or anything.
Yep. Exactly.
But that's what you look like. right? And so that's proof that what you do works. And it's not just the fact that you got older, because that's also a thing too. People say, "Oh, well, looks this is what I like when I was 13." Like, well, yeah, then you grew up and become a man, right? So your body's going to change, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think it's just that. Talk about as we wrap this up, if somebody beyond just reaching out to you on Instagram is can do you have an app or anything like that that people can use if they want to start like trying to use your training principles, or is their best bet to just buy your books and check out your YouTube
Yeah,
or
the
your
best bet is
Instagram?
to see some of the stuff I got on social media there. I've got a whole bunch of books. That's probably going to be a better place to start. It depends on.
How does somebody know which one to start with, though? Because you got a lot.
Yeah, that's a great question. And you can always ask me. There are, it really depends on the goal as well. So I've got a number of different books. If you go to my site, madscientistofmuscle.com, you can click on the drop downs and there will be like different goals that you can match up. It's like, I've got 16 unique exercise books. I've got, I think 4 different muscle building books. I've got, yeah.
So
if
you said the drop down, so just hit.
Yeah. So if you click on that.
Build muscle. Okay.
Yeah, and you can see kind of towards the bottom there, I've got the all book access. I've got return to prime, time volume training, muscle explosion, 2-block mass, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So
nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Man, that's all. And you've got an exercise library on there too. So that's actually
I do, yeah.
That's a reason why people should definitely go visit your website. So man, we ran out of time before we could get to like the legs. So I'll say this, give me like the number one exercise you give somebody. I know this isn't going to be divided, hamstrings and quads, whatever. But if you had to pick just one leg exercise for everybody to just, let's say they're starting out, what would you say that would be?
It would be a split squat variation. So whether it's a Bulgarian split squat or just a regular split squat on the floor, personally, I would start with just the split squats with both your feet on the floor, a couple of dumbbells, and then just doing up and down. I worked up to, I think I worked up to 400 pounds on that at one point, but which is crazy. That was a while ago. But yeah, that kind of gives you the overall best balance between quads, glutes, hamstrings. Squats in general are excellent, but if I had to choose between one or two, I'd probably go with that. So.
And you like doing the split squats with your feet closer together, like kind of like a lunge, or further apart, like the old time physical culture people did?
Kind of like a mix between the two, not super close together, but so that at the bottom, basically the thigh of your back leg is kind of vertical.
Okay.
So it's relatively easy on the knees, and you can get a good up and down movement, and you can put your front foot up on a plate or something to get a little more range of motion as well. So it's a very versatile kind of thing. And if your balance sucks, then you just hold on to something with one hand, hold a dumbbell in the other, that kind of thing too. So.
Right. All right. So let's go ahead. Let's sign off with you telling people the best way that they can get in touch with you if they have more questions. What would be the best place for people to reach out to you?
You can direct message me on Instagram, TikTok, or post via YouTube. You can. I have a contact form on my website, madscientistofmuscle.com. So just to scroll down to the bottom, there's a help desk link on that. If you have any questions, absolutely, I'm happy to help you with. So basically, I did a lot of normal training before I really went down the rabbit hole with a lot of this stuff. So it's like, people tell me, why don't you just do basic stuff? Like, I did basic stuff. I've done basic stuff for 35 years. I still do basic stuff. So it's like, I still do all that. And I got to the point where it's like, okay, I've, mastered that. Now let me have some fun kind of thing.
So I want to say this too before you go. I plan on letting you go, but I changed my mind, because I think this is an important point. You did the basic stuff, but it feels like when you got to the point where most people would buy a gadget because, hey, I need to train this, so I'll buy something, you instead say, well, how can I train that with just what I already have? In some cases, laying around the house. Is that accurate?
That's 100% accurate, yeah. And I literally have made the equipment out of plumbing pipe to hit stuff that I wanted to hit. I use tennis balls. I use foam insulation from, pipe insulation. I literally like go to the hardware store and I'm like, yeah, all right, what can I
Oh,
make
boy.
today?
All right. Well, dude, man, I really appreciate you coming on here. I always have a ball talking to you, and even stuff offline. Nick has been an awesome resource. I've probably abused our friendship with the amount of text messages I've sent him over the years, asking him questions and stuff. So, if you guys want something to, if you have a sticking point, a stubborn body part, hit him up, Nick Nilsson one on Instagram. Send him a DM. First of all, follow him, and then you can post a question in the comments or send him a DM because he's like the number one resource I will go to if I just had a quick training question I needed answered. Man, he's a wealth of information. So I appreciate you being on here, man. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
it was fun. It was a blast.
All right, man, take it easy.
All right.
All right. So that was Nick Nilsson, the mad scientist of muscle. We barely scratched the surface of what Nick has to offer you guys. So I definitely encourage you to go check out his Instagram, go check out his website, buy his books, support what Nick does. We've got ran out of time, so we'll just do the YouTube channels you need to start watching. I'll move that to next week. And I'll just say, thank once again, that's it for today's show. Thank you once again, my wife Naomi, for helping set up the mobile office over here. We wouldn't have been able to get this up and running and get the show done without her, and that's the case for most weeks. So it's so awesome to have somebody else who's like on one accord with me to get this kind of stuff out here. And I appreciate all of you guys for showing up and making sure you're part of the conversation. Do not forget that we have Mailbag Monday coming up this Monday. So come with all of your questions. The show is a whole lot better when you guys show up with questions. So if you have any questions, come to Mailbag Monday, 3:15 p.m. Eastern Time on Monday right here on YouTube. And then next week's show, we've got Pavi Kapoor. She's going to be joining us. She's the influencer from India who I mentioned that I interviewed during COVID. She works out on the roof of her house, and I reached out to Pavi, and so she's going to come back. We're going to catch up with her. I have not talked to her in 6 years. She's got like 80,000 Instagram followers now. So she's done competitions and everything. Cannot wait to catch back up with her. And I want you guys to be there for our conversation so you can add to it as well. Okay. Once again, appreciate y'all. And oh yeah, make sure you share this video with somebody else who you think might enjoy it. Until next week, keep stacking days. Peace out. That's it. I'm trying to figure out where my mouse is so I can end the show, but I can't end the show. There we go. There it is.